in the Yasma race circuit for Abu Dhabi, and it's nice to be back. And alongside me, very special guest indeed, and it is CRL Origin Gamma.
Hello, yeah, long time since I've been here, but good to be back. Good to see the league is thriving, as no surprise at all. But yeah, looking forward to the race tonight.
Round 10 was the Austrian Grand Prix, and we saw both Mercedes just absolutely dominate that race. They came first and second, with Cameron Dowles leading total Ps. And back for this week is Jeroen Visser, who had work last week, and he's still in the championship lead despite taking one race off, and he's 34 points ahead of Walter in P2, who finished on the podium alongside Ps, his championship rival, for first, second and third. Total Ps came second last time out, scoring 209 points and 61 points away from Jeroen, and Jeroen's got a really healthy advantage at the top of the tables. Rudy in P4 as well, ahead of Mark in P5. Andreas in P6 got 2 podiums to his name. Nathan in P7 ahead of Ferk, who is not here tonight, I don't think. He wasn't here last week either, but hopefully we can see him soon. AJ in P9 in the championship, and Zagriff, who is in P10. Then Cameron Dowds in P11. His points have finally been added on. I think he's been confirmed as a full-time driver, as he was classed as reserve, and his points didn't really count, but he's in P11 in the championship ahead of IRT Bonpierre, and also Sieb in P13 as well. VRB in P14, Liam Karag P15, Stanley P16, Pyro P17, Josh in P18, Troye P19, and Taze Leroy, who is last in the championship. Then he didn't have the best race back in the Austrian Grand Prix, but we've got some few cars that are heading out on the track, and Abu Dhabi is one of those circuits that it's very hard to hook up indeed. Once you can hook it up, it's very satisfying because it's fast flowing as well, and these corners, sequence of corners here, just amazing to drive. So difficult, and you're one of the longest circuits on the calendar as well, and also been in one of those races that's been held as the last race of the season. And I think it's still one of the races that's been held in the last race of the season. Yes, it is, because we had the championship back in 2021. We all know what happened there. And the championship had been won back in 2016, where Nico Rosberg took the championship away from Lewis Hamilton. And also down at 2014 as well. I think 2010 was another one. The iconic moment with Sebastian Vettel won the championship there. 2009, I think, was another one as well. No, it was Brazil, who Jenson Button won in Brazil there. Yeah, so last race of the season, championships have been awarded before, and Q1 of the session, and we'll see what happens then in this 80-minute qualifying session.
Yeah, definitely. This track is super difficult, particularly the final sector. You've got to get the setup absolutely spot on, but at the same time, you don't want to put too much downforce on and make the car too stable. Main reason is the two long back straights, of course, which will be the main overtaking parts of the race, and of course with parts heavy conditions you can't change most parts once you have put it out on qualifying, so we'll see what compromises the drivers have made.
Ruud Gullit, the man who went on the lap first, but also invalidated it coming out of turn 1. So just in the exit of turn 1 there, went off the track, and sadly for him has invalidated his lap time. So already down at turn 1, people are struggling, and yeah, that's his lap time already over. But the advantage of invalidating it in the first lap, it's not really an advantage, but you could say an advantage of invalidating on the first lap is you hadn't took too much life out of the tyres, and also you can save that battery, and also the tyre temperature. But that Scream, who's made his debut here, has crashed at the exit of turn number 2, that looks like. May have gotten the curb there, I just lost the rear. Probably his downforce wasn't having much downforce on the car either, but sadly for him, he has retired on his debut in the AlphaTauri. But we've got SXT Yoga out there, just bounced over the curb, and yeah, I think he's backed out of his lap time. No, yes, he has, so he's not satisfied with that lap time.
Yeah, I think, yeah, as soon as he bounced over the curb, you lose so much time going down the back straights anyway, so probably best to just conserve the tyres, keep as much energy in them, and recharge the battery, ready to go for another lap. Like you mentioned, we're very early into Q1, so they've got plenty of time to get a representative lap on the board. So we'll see what that can do. But of course, the more you invalidate, the more at risk you end up going as a result. So let's see how Yogurt recovers from that.
Interestingly, one driver on the medium compound tyres, which is Sieb there, he's on a lap time in that McLaren as well, so he's still going around this track, and his teammate Ruud Gullit is making his way around the final corner now. I think he's going to go back into pit lane, which he has. As to Griff then has set the first lap time on the board, which is a 35, instantly smashed by Cameron Dowds, who's gone P1 with a 34.7. Joshua's got up to P2 to reduce that deficit between himself and Cameron. 5 tenths clear is Cameron, as Sevo Gamer is making his way around the final corner then. It's a 36.5, as you would expect on being on the medium compound tyres, and Rudy then with a 35.0, 3 tenths away from Cameron Dowds' time. But I think somebody's gone for a spin. It looks like SXT Yogurt. Yep.
Looks like they have, or they've slowed down incredibly, but looks like all is okay with the car. Can't see any damage on it, so Yogurt's all ready to go then. So I assume that's 2 mistakes now that has been made by Yogurt. Like I said, it's still early doors, but the more mistakes you make, the more that can have an impact on your confidence overall. So want to keep an eye out for sure. But that time from Sieb there, the 1:36.5 on those mediums is interesting. We lose 4 drivers from this Q1 session. One's already gone, so perhaps by going mediums early, you save a set of soft tyres for either qualifying or even the race itself. So this could be an intriguing strategy here from the McLaren driver.
Suggestion that he's not going to go on the medium tyres. As Snell has been disqualified for blocking the pit lane exit. What car is he in? Snell is in the as he drops down.
That would be the Haas, I believe. Yeah, it's just off the exit. You can see them exiting out. So I wonder if they spun in the pit exit there underneath the tunnel potentially. Not sure, but either way, that's 2 drivers gone then. So 2 out already, 2 more to go.
And see Robbie then making his way towards the line, but sadly for him, he has invalidated it on the Puddlesburg corner, and as you can see in the bottom right, he has not got enough fuel to go for one more run. Either way, he wouldn't have gone for another run because his tyres will be heated up, and therefore overheated tyres for his next run, so there's no point going for another run. Sadly, Robbie will have to come back in the pit lane and possibly change onto a different set of tyres, because it can take the life out of the tyres. Can the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Mark then in P18 hasn't set a lap time just yet. Quite a few drivers in this opening stint of Q1 have not set a lap time. Rudy's retired in the pit lane knowing that he's safe, but yeah, that's very interesting. P7 all the way down to P18, well, excluding 2 of them, so P7 all the way down to like P16 have not set a lap time just yet, but Mark's about to as he makes his way towards that final corner then. Cross the line now, and let's see what lap time he has to produce. Yes, a 34.7, a 200 slower than Cameron Downs, but nevertheless, all you want to do really in Q1 is put a good lap time on the board to get yourself in the top 15, and he's done that by going to P2, so what a lap time that was from Mark, and should be comfortable with that lap. But we've still got a lot of drivers yet to set a lap time. And what's happened there?
Pyro just hit the barrier on the exit of I can't remember which corner number it is. That will have lost time slightly there, but that's a hand-in-mouth moment, but still goes quickest anyways despite that, despite having a tap with the barrier there. So 1:31.47. Oh, very close between the top 3, 10th within them.
Yeah, all separated just by 10, like you said. All in the 34.7s, the low 34.7 for Pyro and the high 37 for Mark. It's SXT Yogurt who's making his debut here for CRL. He was my commentator.
Nathan's round. Sorry, the Aston Martin of Nathan having a similar spin to what the AlphaTauri did earlier. Thankfully, though, keeps it out the barrier and all okay, but yeah, like you've mentioned earlier, a number of drivers are struggling through that turn 1. Wonder if they're compromising their rear downforce potentially.
Possibly. It's a very difficult corner. I don't think he's taking too much curb. That could be another factor.
No, it just seemed like the back end spun round really. Didn't really hit any curbs or anything like that. It just came before he would touch the curb as well. So maybe not quite sure, but yeah, it's I think a lucky escape though for Nathan.
Bompio going for a second lap on these soft compound tyres, has put a lap time on the board, but obviously not competitive enough to try and get himself inside the top 15. 41.8, so he's going for a second lap on this set of softs, but he must have made a mistake somewhere in the course of the lap because he didn't validate. He spun! Bompio spun, and the same place as Nathan as well, but doesn't go out wide off the track. So yeah, plenty of people are struggling, and it must be the way the car is set up as well with the low downforce setup. Like you said, try not to sacrifice too much straight line speed, but Ruud Root Hullet then in P1 with a 34.6 then, a few hundreds quicker than Pyro, got a good lap time on the board, and the finishman is in P1 then, so a good lap time from him in his early stage. He did invalidate on his first lap, the exit of turn 1, that was very early where he validated it, but nevertheless, got a lap time on the board. But yeah, quite a few people are struggling around this track, unsurprised as well. And look at Chivu Vissa, he's got a really good slipstream as somebody's gone up the pecking order. I think it was Andreas.
That was Anden in the Alpine going up to 8th fastest as well. Just keeping an eye on him. Looked like a steady lap. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many people do take advantage of that slipstream down the 2 back straights. You can get a couple of attempts through there as well, so will we see teammates working together maybe? Who knows? Jerome does a 57.5 for the middle sector. Not sure where that is in comparison to everybody else, but looks good so far.
Yeah, the rear unsettled there between turn number... In fact, I'm looking at the wrong map as well. I'm actually looking at the current Formula 1 track map for Abu Dhabi, not the old pre-one.
We had a conversation about Singapore earlier on, and I had the Singapore map open earlier, so...
As Javin Visitor makes his way towards the penultimate corner, now making his way through the final corner. Let's see what lap time he has set. As he crosses the line now, it's a 34.4, so the times are tumbling down as the track gets even faster with the track evolution. So good lap time there from our current championship leader, as his teammate really helped him as well, who's currently sat in P8 in the Williams, and Andreas has validated his lap time. Walter then P3 in the championship. He's also validated his lap time, has the Dutchman, so have to go for it again. He's looked like he's pushing up, backing off on these tyres, so looks like he might have come in the pit lane to change the set of softs, because if he was going for a lap time, he'll be slowing down, cooling the tyres, recharge the battery. But so let's see what he does then. What will he do? Slows down to the final possible moment.
Yeah, looks like that's the case. P's out on track as well, finally, in the last 7 minutes. So let's see where these times are. Like I mentioned, only 2 have got to go.
And sadly, Robbie has spun where we saw Nathan and had Bompier spin. So Robbie spun. 3 drivers have been caught out by the third corner. You either validate the exit of the first corner or spin at the exit of the second corner. So really challenging parts of the track in the first few corners. Really proving to be a menace for a gremlin for all these drivers here.
Yeah, Aston Martin doing their best 2022 impression, it seems, with their performance at the moment. Nathan with a 1:57, of course, has got more time in there for sure, but Robbie still yet to set a lap time as well, as Valter blasts past the Aston Martin as well. That makes their way through the chicane. Rows over the curb quite nicely there as well. You can be so precise through that chicane and you can gain so much time as a result, but equally get it wrong, you lose so much time as well.
Exactly, and there's still about 3 drivers not set a lap time on the board. Robbie making his way down, but I don't think he's on a representative lap time. And also Walter, purple middle sector for him, so we'll go on board with him then, as he's able to hook up this second lap. There's 5 minutes left to go in this session, and on the cusp of elimination is Nathan, and both Aston Martins down there in P15 as well. We'll yet to see what Robbie can do. P's and Walter as well, the 2 championship rivals down in P16 and P17. SXT Yogurt hasn't got a representative. In fact, 12 place downwards haven't got really representative lap times, or none of them have either. So yeah, we're still yet to see a few drivers put a lap time on the board, as Walter crosses the line, goes P5 with a 34.7, 5,000 slower than Cameron Dow's Jr. in P4 there. But Seymour Gamer has switched over to the soft compound tyres. He probably knows that he might not be safe, because the guys behind are still yet to set a lap time and representative, including Yogurt, Bompier, Nathan Pease and Robbie down in P17. But Seymour Gamer goes 9/10 quicker in the middle sector, unsurprisingly being on the soft compound tyres then. He takes the curves, but he's spun at the exit of turn number 13, sorry, and sadly has ruined a really good lap time. That's a massive shame for Sevo Gamer there.
Oh dear, what a shame for Steve as well. Keeping an eye on P's as well as that's happening. Again, it's very neat and tidy at the moment. They're not, obviously, maybe not all be giving it full beams just yet, as we are in this Q1 session. So far, P's doing enough to hopefully get a lap on the board, and it's representative, but dangerous times for Sieb though. 1:36.5, is that going to be enough to get through, especially if all the drivers behind improve as well? See what P's does then, coming out of the final corner, goes up into 7th place, just within a 1:34.
Yep, C4 Gamer then has come back in the pit lane, as you mentioned that P's gone P7, but C4 Gamer, will he go into a brand new set of tyres, or is he fueling the car up? Will he go for a run on the same set of tyres, because he don't want to sacrifice too many tyres around here for Q2 and Q3. I don't think he'll be going on the medium compound tyres in Q2, so he probably want to stay on the same set of softs and try to go for it again. As SXT Yogurt then making his way towards the heavy braking zone, one of the heaviest braking zones on the calendar, and going into turn 8, locks up on entry, hits the inside curb, and then this one again you want to hit the inside curb, but it doesn't really do that, but he uses the track on the left hand side, and you want to take the shortest route to minimise the distance of this track, as he does do all the way to the left hand side. Then eventually he'll pull to the right hand side and braking at the 75 metre mark, 2.2 seconds up, locks up on entry, goes slightly wide, mounts the curb, but a bit too much there. Yeah, Yogurt really struggling. He's got 3 minutes left to go, so will he come back in the pit lane, put a brand new set of softs? But he's got to cool the tyres down now and try and go for another run.
Yeah, that's going to be nip and tuck with time. Thankfully, he's invalidated right towards the end of the lap as well. And you can see there just trying to cut a little bit of corner to get back to the pits earlier, but that will be nip and tuck with timing in terms of getting in and back out again. Has he got enough fuel for another run? Let's see what he does here, and I think he is staying out. He's just backing off to start his lap once again.
Head Bob Pierre there, keep it on him, he's on a lap, he went purple in the middle sets, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but into this corner we go, then hitting that inside curve really nicely, bringing it over to the right hand side, bringing a wider entrance, using all of the track there, into his left hander we go again, get as close to the wall as you possibly can, very easy to wheel spin there as well, lose traction as we come into the Puddlesbrook corner, right in the curb there, don't take the orange curve there as we come into the final corner, hits that inside curve, hooking up these corners really nicely, and he goes P9 as well, does head Bob Pierre, at least got a lap time on the board inside the top 10 as Yogurt goes for another run. We've got both Aston Martins out there attempting their final flying laps there, and they're going to hook this up. This is really pivotal moments and desperate times for both Aston Martins because they're currently knocked out of Q1 then, and Yogurt also desperate times for him as well because he's got 47.4, which is not safe at all. And yeah, one of those Aston Martins will definitely beat it even if it's a bad lap, so Yogurt has to get a good lap time on the board. C4 Gamer's out there again, and I think he's on the same set of the soft compound tyres. I think he's on a brand new set now of the soft compound tyres. He's making his way towards the Puddlesbrook corner. Yeah,
dangerous times then. Wolsieb's mistake earlier cost him. We shall see. Yogurt's going nicely. Nathan as well, improving significantly on those lap times as you would imagine. Yogurt's going very nicely, 1.8 seconds up in the middle sector, a little bit wide in that corner there, but seems to be all neat and tidy to get a lap in here. They just need to get out of that bottom 2. We've already lost 2. Will Yogurt be joining the AlphaTauri, and the Haas driver who was disqualified goes up into the top 10. That pushes Sabe in there, and Nathan is invalidated.
Mr. BT, Robbie has retired at the final corner. He possibly went for a little spin, and sadly, both Aston Martins out. You can see there on the full map that an Aston Martin is stationary, and he possibly lost the car like Nick Latifi did at Sebastian Vettel. And sadly for both Aston Martins, they have both been retired. So C4 Gamer is safe. It's his choice whether to complete the lap or not. This is the place where he spun, and yeah, this time he keeps it nice on the track, but he doesn't have to complete the lap because Nathan is. In fact, there's 40 seconds left to go, and Nathan's going for another run. So yeah, Nathan, he's got to.
Yeah, Nathan's going for another run as well. Sabe, improving by 0.8 of a second. So to Griff, in fact, could also be in danger as well. And to Griff has not improved in the only improved by 0.8 in the middle sector. So it's between these three as to who goes. It's a Ferrari, McLaren, or an Aston Martin, and it won't be the McLaren enough to get up into 13th and safely through to Q2 then. So it's either a Ferrari that's going to go, or is it going to be Nathan in the Aston Martin?
Yeah, Nathan just can't seem to hook up a perfect lap to get inside the Q2 because he's 57.5, he's just struggling all the while, same as his teammates. So both Aston Martins, then one of them's going to get through, or both of them are going to get knocked out. Here comes to Griff then, making his way around that final corner then. Let's see if this lap time's good enough to boost him. It is a 35.1, yes it is. So Andreas then on the cusp are getting knocked out. Nathan then could possibly knock Andreas out in P15. C4 Gamer is just safe for the time being in P14. But yeah, Nathan then, all eyes on him to see if he can get into Q2 and spoil Andreas is qualifying down in P15. all up to him now. Nathan making his way through the slow speed corners, taking it really nicely there, just trying to be careful not to invalidate or take too much speed through there, just in case he makes a mistake. As he makes his way towards the penultimate corner, hits that inside curve really nicely, does go out too wide. Now coming through that final corner, has he got the pace to get himself into Q2? Let's see. I didn't quite see what happened there.
See it.
No, I didn't see it. We're about to find out. It said it's 15th place. I looked at his steering wheel, 15th place, and it's...
Yeah, it is indeed. He's through by just under 6/100ths of a second.
Yeah, Nathan will be happy about that one, but looks like both Aston Martins then are really struggling. As you can see, Robbie crashed at the final corner and Nathan just getting into Q2 there, but the people that have disappeared is Andreas, Robbie, Mr. BT as well, who did not set a lap time on the board, joining very late, so he retired as soon as he joined the session because there was only 1 minute to go, so Mr. BT could get a lap on the board. That Scream, who we never really saw in Q1, he did crash in Q1, I think it was turn 3, and Snell, who got disqualified at the pit lane exit, sadly for him. Pit lane exit, I wonder if he outbroke himself and hit that wall in the tunnel there and probably reversed or something, or was he too late to get out the tunnel? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's such a tight exit there through the tunnel, so I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen. It's so easily done as well. Ideally not what you want to be doing at all. Definitely not the best place to park a car there, but we'll have to see where they go in qualifying. But for now, they take a back seat as we get into Q2.
Andreas has left the session there, probably trying to get a different setup there, but Part 3 rule does apply, so yeah, probably go to tyre trial and do a few laps while he's knocked out of Q1. Why not? Because it's a long session for people who get knocked out of Q1. He's got to wait about 30 minutes before we get into the actual session, or actual race session for people that knocked out of Q1. So yeah, sit on the sidelines and watching like us, but he'd rather be out there on the track than sitting watching it with us. But here we go then. People coming out of the garages, and let's see what tyres people have gone for. So mixture of mediums and softs, like Seaworld Gamer expected him to be on the soft compound tyres because his best run, well, he set a few laps on those mediums, so no surprise there, he's gone on the soft compound tyres. You can see a few people there on the mediums, such as Cameron Dowds, who was in 3rd place in Q1, and yeah, let's see if he's one of those drivers to get through. Nathan JB, one of those drivers as well. I think people are waiting for track evolution because it's too early to set a really good lap on the soft compound tyres. They're just waiting for the end of the session to get a soft run in and try and get inside the top 10. But for now, it's the mediums that are being used, and I suspect a few of those drivers will switch over to the softs. Let's see who starts in the mediums inside the top 10, and let's see where it goes. But look at Head Bumpy then. He should be disqualified from the session because if you go on board with him, he's got no helmet on.
I've seen it, yeah. Wasn't it Mark Webber who got a significant fine during the final race for taking his helmet off?
Yeah, he did.
For that as well. So does that mean that he's going to be CRL will fine him? We'll have to flag it to the stewards.
What's it called? I think in the race it should reset to all the drivers having their numbers and helmets, and yeah, Bob Pierre definitely needs a helmet on.
Yeah, I was going to say someone had a number 10 on as well. You can see he's got the Pierre Gasly race number. I did see him with the helmet on, and I thought that looked familiar. Now that makes sense why. So yeah, but maybe it's an aerodynamic advantage by not having a helmet. Maybe it gets an extra, I don't know, 2 miles an hour or something.
Yeah.
So,
less safety, more performance.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the aerodynamics we all needed.
Right, let's see who's the first man to cross the line. I think it's one of the Ferraris who's out there. So
it'll be to Griff then, just coming through to start the lap. First lap on the soft tyres, so be interesting to see where these softs are in comparison to the mediums. We did see quite a big tyre delta difference before. Let's see where they are as well. Who's got the pace to get through on those mediums as well?
Races his way down into turn 5, then the first chicane. Let's see how he takes it in the first part very nicely through there, and the second part hits the apex through there. But we've got a Red Bull who's possibly made a mistake, and that could be Pyro. Yes, it is Pyro.
Yeah,
so
it is Pyro. Yeah, Pyro's slow. I'm not sure if they spun or whether they just backed off initially. They haven't been validated, so I wonder if it is another lap, maybe to get temperature in tires. Not quite sure, but either way, they weren't happy about something on their first run.
maybe it's the lack of grip and temperature, and possibly made a mistake in turn 1 and turn 2 save the car, because we saw a few people struggle on the soft compound tyres in Q1. What have you seen?
That was just a great. I thought I had a little bit of a snap on the chicane as I watched them there. It wasn't anything significant, but I just thought the car was going round. So I get a heart in hand moment when I just see little snaps there, rides over the curbs again. I don't know, it just seems that the car just bounces around and almost goes a different direction. I don't know if that's just me or not.
As he makes his way down into the right-hander, then an iconic corner. This one in the double left-hander. Here we go. Then through third gear, uses the exit really nicely there. It's the entry of this one. I can't really remember the corner names. That was turn 19. Now coming through turn 20, hitting the apex really nicely, riding those curves. Now coming through the last corner, turn 21. And looks like he did get a really good entry through there as he makes his way towards the line of 35.7 for the Ferrari driver, and the Mercedes is next across the line, which is Cameron Dowds on the medium tyres. Let's see what lap time he has. And has he crossed the line now? Oh, 35.0. Wow, on the medium compound tyres. That's a fantastic lap time.
Good lap there indeed. ESW invalidated as well, so they've got to go again. You see, yeah, around. That's a very significant lap there by Cameron Dowds. You can see Steve has just crossed the line 3 tenths down on the soft tyres in comparison as well. So that's a really good lap. And if that lap does stick, that will be such a huge advantage for the Mercedes as we get into the race as well. But, as you've mentioned, the track will evolve over time. Times will get quicker. And we've got 10 minutes as well left. So it's a good lap, but will it be enough?
Will it be enough? And Rudy then, he validated his lap, that's why he's going for another one. So quite a few people invalidating lap times, such as the LFR driver, Rude Hullett, in P11 there, invalidating his lap on the soft compound tyres. And ESW then not going for another lap on these medium compound tyres. Relentless Peace is about to start a fly lap in that second Mercedes, also being in the on the medium compound tyres, approaching down at turn 1. But yeah, quite a few people invalidating lap times, such as SXT Yogurt as well, down there in P14 marks. In the pit lane we've got Troy coming out the pits as well in the Alpine, in the Williams, sorry, giving his teammate a lovely tow down that straight. In fact, Giroud Vizza is on a lap time coming through the hairpin of turn number 7 then. Goes to good exit. You can see the car sliding just a bit, but the medium compound tyres not giving it fully grip. And yeah, it makes its way down a long back straight. 3 lanes turn into 2 as that lane disappears there as we make our way down into the heavy braking zone, then scrubbing off all the speed, 80 kilometers an hour, about 60 miles an hour through that corner as we get back on the straight lane for the second straight. Another opportunity to overtake, but it's quite difficult because she did a really good exit and being in the dirty air, the slow speed corner, it can be very difficult to build traction. And Chivivers are making its way towards the end of the second sector, 57.8, as Rude Hullett then goes P1 with a 34.7, but he's done his lap time on the same set of softs. He's done 2 laps on those same set of soft tyres, so yeah, will he go for another one?
Yeah, that could be intriguing. The more laps you do, of course, the more they take out of your tyres if you do make it through into Q3 on those tyres, because of course you must start on those tyres if you do make it into the top 10. So don't want to be taking too many laps there, but we'll see. As Jerome then coming through the final corner, had a lot of momentum, 34.9. Now that's 2 tenths back on medium tyres, so super laps at the moment. Some people are getting to grips early with these medium tyres, some just needing a bit more time and patience with them. Yogurt, I think once again, Yogurt's struggling from what I'm seeing at the moment. They've just done 2 laps on the mediums. They invalidated the first one, and I think they've invalidated twice. You can see they're recharging the battery as well, so this isn't a faster lap either, so Yogurt's really in danger here.
Yeah, sadly for him, he struggled in Q1 and just made it through, and yet again struggling in this second part of qualifying. But once he switches over to the soft compound tyres, will it be a different story? Will he find pace on those soft compound tyres? Also, Total P's in the pit lane because he validated his lap time on the course of the lap, and he's in the pit lane as well. So will he go to the soft compound tyres and get a lap time on there? Pyro crossed the line with a 53.0, so done 2 laps already, and he's invalidated his 3rd lap, has Pyro, so he's struggling on those medium compound tyres, can't get to grips with them, and he'll be another one of those drivers to go on the soft compound tyres, especially for him, who's just in 9th place and hasn't got a representative lap time. But Walter with the DRS now taking the shortest route. We've got a car ahead of us, which is a Red Bull, who gets nice out of the way. That was Yogurt, as we make our way into the middle sector. 57.6, well, I think that's what Giroud did as well. But bearing in mind, Walter is on the soft compound tyres, so we expect him to be quicker on this lap. But makes his way now very nicely through those sequence of corners then. Gets out of turn 14, using the curb on the exit. Now coming through turn number 15 and 16, where we saw Narain Kartikeyan and Nico Rosberg crashed back in 2012, and we're making our way through turn number 18 and turn 19. Now this can be a little bit difficult, especially when the tyres are when they're most worked up. It almost hit the wall there, just getting away with it
Yeah.
as well to make its way towards that penultimate corner. Uses the curve nicely, hits that inside curve. This one here hits the inside curve very nicely, while to make his way towards the line. Goes quicker as you expect on those soft compound tyres. It's a 34.6, 3/10 ahead of Jeroen Visser.
Yeah, that's a good lap. Will they regret going on those soft tyres, though? That's the interesting question. Jeroen, that makes, I think if anything, that makes Jeroen and Cameron Dowd's lap times even more significant on those mediums as well. But it's a number of drivers that will be transitioning onto the softs later. But that lap time from Valter should be good enough, we think, to make it through into Q3. So, but we'll see.
An interesting one to Griff. I just had a look at the tyre graphic, and his best lap time is on the soft compound tyres. My TV's about to turn off. I need to find the remote. There we go. And yeah, so Griff set his best lap time on the medium compound tyre, on the soft, sorry, and he's currently on the medium compound tyre. So does he believe he could go quicker on those mediums? As Mark makes his way around that final corner, goes up into P4 with a 34.9. So nice last sector as he went purple through there.
Yeah, another good lap there on those mediums as well. This is a very intriguing Q2, it must be said. We've got 5 minutes to go. How safe are they feeling? Will they go again? This could be a very busy final few minutes. Watching ESW Junior on the soft tyres once again. We've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers still not with a lap time on the board as well. So we can't discount them as well. Pease is just started a lap as well. This could still turn on its head for a number of drivers as well.
Those drivers. 1.1 as well. That's not a good lap time for ESW, Josh, because the middle sector was a 57.6 on Walter. So yeah, Josh has had a mistake somewhere, and he's gone wide as well for good measure. So Josh was not on a competitive lap to get himself inside the top 10.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to continue. They've gone wide again through. Well, they've definitely gone wide now. I'm surprised it's not invalidated it yet, but yeah, this isn't going to be. Well, it's definitely not going to be up there, and I think ESW's realised it and decided enough is enough. I'm going to pit for a fresh set of tyres, a bit more fuel, and try and go again. They should have enough time to do that, but anxious times when you leave it later in the session. All it takes is one invalidation, and that's it then. Troyer's invalidated as well on their run. They're on the medium tyres as well. Rudy's coming out on mediums as well. They're taking a huge gamble here by going on those mediums compared to those on the soft tyres. We imagine that will come out. Do they think they can get through onto Q3, or do they just not want to go on the soft tyres maybe?
P's up into P4 then on the soft compound tyres, finally get a lap time, but interestingly a few hundreds slower than Jeroen Visser's time. So Jeroen Visser's time, really good one on those medium compound tyres. The fastest medium runner up there in P3, no, that was Root Cullet, sorry, the fastest medium runner. He just switched over to the soft compound tyres. He's still in the pit lane thinking about whether he wants to go to the softs or not, but Troyer almost crashed in the pit lane.
Yeah.
You see that?
I noticed, yeah, I just saw that out of the corner of my eye. That was a pretty edgy pit stop there, entry into the pits for Troyer. Thankfully it's in qualifying, not in the race. That could be a bit more damaging there as well. Got a number of drivers still on track. Rudy's about to start their first flying lap. We'll see where they go on those mediums as well. But,
Pyro's gone quicker than per sector. You on board with him as well?
Yeah, great minds think alike here. We seem to have telepathic abilities, but yeah, notice that improvement there. So 2.6 seconds, obviously mentioned. As see where it is. They're currently in the drop zone. We haven't seen a representative lap time from them just yet, so very late on in the session. We've got 2 minutes left.
Griff was on the medium compound tyres. These are the pit lane. There's about 1 minute and 50 seconds left to go. He has to get himself out of the pit lane right now if he wants to get himself into Q3. You can cut the track if you want, but don't get caught. But yeah, he's out of the track now on the soft compound tyres. Yep. Important tyres to everybody then, and Cameron Dowles and Giroud Vizor are definitely starting on the medium compound tyres, but interestingly, second place man Ruud Huller in P2 has gone on the soft compound tyres, so looks like it's one of those cases where he might back off before the end of the lap, or might want to complete it and start the soft compound tyres, because while to start on the softs, P's on the soft, Seymour Gamer, Het Bompier as well on the soft compound tyre. Bearing in mind, Het Bompier set his best lap time on the mediums, but here comes Pyro now, making his way towards the final corner. Let's see what lap time he's got. It's quickest with a 1:43.3 then, so what a good lap time for Pyro in P1 then, so pushes Nathan towards the drop zone. Nathan, I think he set his best lap time on the medium compound tyres, yes he has, and he's in P9, he's definitely going to go for a run with Het Bompier as well, and Seymour Gamer. Seymour Gamer has invalidated it.
Yes, Het Bompier has found just over a tenth in that first sector. Do you remember how I said earlier that Cameron Dowd's 1:35.0 is really good and should be safely through?
Yeah.
He's down in 7th now at the moment.
Sieb
could be worrying.
It could be a winning sweep. Sieb has invalidated it. He'll go for one more run. That was his last run. But Het Bompier then, the end of the middle sector, 4/10 up with the 57.7, matches, I think, Giroud's time on the medium compound tyres, as I saw, as he makes his way towards that left-hander then, gets a really good exit, leads on the curb there, but to Griff then on the soft compound tyres with 20 seconds left to go. Nathan on the softs. Interestingly, Rudy in P14 is on the medium, so he's definitely committed to being on the medium compound tyres, but he's only got one shot, and yeah, he can be really careful not to blow it. As Het Bompier then makes his way towards the penultimate corner, coming towards it now, takes a really good entry there, hits the curve very nicely, leads on the exit of the curve, and Het Bompier then misses the final corner, he almost invalidates it, almost does a Yuki Tsunoda, and puts himself in P8.
I'm not sure, wasn't there steward notes on Abu Dhabi tracks on the corners, potentially? I'm not sure if that one was one of them, but Het Bompier doing just enough to stay in for now. So that lack of helmet really is giving an aerodynamic advantage.
Yeah.
Free place could drop in itself.
Keep an eye on Rudy then, making his way towards the left-hander on the medium compound tyres, so if he gets through the top 10 on those, I'll be very happy as he makes his way towards the penultimate corner, now makes his way through that final corner. Some people have missed that final corner, and he makes his way towards it now, a bit of wheel spin on the exit as he makes his way towards P4, so he gets himself inside that top 10. Cameron Dowles in P8, not looking comfortable. We've got Seymour Gamer yet to settle up, Nathan's yet to settle up on the soft compound tyres, that is, to Griff as well.
ESW's next, they cross the line, they're through. That pushes Sieb out at the moment. Sieb is backed up. Oh no, sorry, apologies, wrong McLaren.
Yogurt invalidated it sadly for him, so you're not going through.
And Nathan then. Oh,
P11.
Out. P11 for them. That might be an advantage. They will get a fresh choice of tyres, hopefully. But here comes Sieb then, 10th and a bit up in the middle sector.
Oh, ran out of fuel! I think he's run out of fuel. Yes, he has. Yep, he has.
Yeah, they have. They're slow off the corners. Oh, they did 2 laps, but they were only fueled for 1, and they go out as well. But well, a good lap at the end by Rudy, must be said, and Cameron Dowd's just about hanging on there.
You mentioned that Nathan was in. I don't know what you said actually. I can't actually remember. What did you mention?
Oh, what did I? Now I'm trying to remember.
Something about Nathan JB. In fact, I think I mentioned it. Nathan JB at the end of Q1 was 50th place, struggling to get through to Q1, and he's 11th. He's in 11th place, so I think his confidence has grown as he starts to get used to the track now, and I think we'll be happy with P11 there. But as you can see in the top 10, Ruud Huller did not do a best lap time on the soft compound tyres. He stays on the mediums. I don't know if he made a mistake or not, or just backed out. Rudy P4 on the mediums, Mark on the mediums, Giroud on the mediums. So P's, Joshua and Bompier are on the soft compound tyres then, so yeah, a lot of medium runners inside the top 10 for a change, as typically in previous races that's all the top 10 on the softs, but it's obviously the Dhabi and you have a mixture of strategies there. But we're going into Q3, the most important session now, and let's see who can get a pole position.
Yeah, it looks super close as well. I'm intrigued by the Q2 results. 5 drivers on mediums, 5 drivers on softs, so bit of a mixture there, but this is of course where it matters, because we know overtaking around here isn't always the easiest because of the first and final sector. So this matters now. There can be no mistakes made here. They've got to absolutely nail it, and Rudy gone already. Of course they've got a qualifying ban, I believe, or a Q3 ban to be more specific. So Rudy will be starting this race from 10th unless anyone gets disqualified in the next 12 minutes.
We see some people validated it, but these are crucial times now. I wonder at the end of the qualifying, will we see some people invalidate lap times due to pressure soaking in? Might see that as well when drivers try to get the absolute best as well, but keep it consistent. And people that are used to getting to Q1 and Q2 might not feel the pressure as much because they can get straight through for Q3 now. We'll really see who can hook up a lap time as qualifying will come to a close in 11 minutes time. So a few people out on the track. We've got Root Hullet down there in P7 with Cameron Dowds in a Mercedes. Cameron Dowds making it just through in P8 on those BD compound tyres. But those people, the softs, I think it was Pease, Bonpierre and Joshua, those three, they have to have a good Q3 session. They need to get themselves in like P1, P2, P3 further up the grid because they're surrounded by medium runners. You don't want to get stuck behind medium runners on the opposing strategy, and your first stint will be ruined then if you're stuck behind those guys.
Yeah, agreed. And of course, those who start on the mediums will be on the soft. Usually, will be on either the soft tyres or much pressure tyres towards the end. So the aim for those on the soft tyres is to just literally leg it, if in the best way to describe it. They need to build up as much of a gap as possible and then try and utilise the grip on those tyres. For when they pit then, they'll pit a lot earlier than everybody else. They've then got to have such a sizable gap. When those are on the anti-strategy, come back at the end, they've got to have they want to have as much track position available to them as possible. And we can't discount the fact of safety cars and virtual safety cars as well, which can play a significant factor in the race. Cough, cough, Abu Dhabi 2021.
Yeah, Root Hullet there making his way towards the line to start his first flying lap as we make our way down into turn 1. Let's see how he takes that first corner. Very nicely. Goes a bit too wide and almost loses the car. But on both occasions did not invalidate. He did invalidate in Q1 where we saw him lose the car there. But yeah, just kept it in the boundaries of the racetrack. A 17.3 for the first set. It takes a lot of curb on the entry to turn number 5 and 6. Now coming through turn 7 then. It's just building up traction all the way to this point. Gets on the straight, power down, DRS enabled then as we make our way towards the DRS zone. Very long straight. This is where we'll see the most overtaking possibilities down here. And we're coming to the heaviest braking zone on the track. Braking at the 100 meter board, a crucial screw off all the speed here. Down into turn number 9 and 10 we go. Nice exit for Root Hullet there. DRS enabled for the second part of the straight. If you can't get it done in the first DRS zone, there's always the second one as well on this straight as we make our way down into the braking zone of turn 11 then 57.6. What I've seen in Q2 sorry, but gets on the curve too much and unsettles the rear.
Validates.
Yeah, double dose there. That's a massive shame for Root Hullet then. We will not get a lap time on the board for his first one.
Cameron Dowds invalidated as well, so not a good run. Jerome invalidates as well. Anybody else?
Bonpierre's on the lap.
Yep, I think everyone else has got no invalidations so far.
The tree then coming towards the iconic braking zone of turn number 17, now making his way through the double left-hander turn 18 and turn 19. Then gets on the exit of that curb using all of the track. Now coming through the exit of that one, don't hit the wall there like a certain person did. Coming towards turn 20 and now coming through turn 21. Makes his way around the final corner, takes a very nice final corner indeed, and let's see what lap time he has to offer. 34.9, very good lap time indeed for the head Bonpierre in the AlphaTauri. Joshua is the next man. In fact, his Alfa Romeo teammate Mark is next man to cross the line, so let's go on board with him as he makes his way towards the line. It's a 34.3, smashes head Bonpierre's lap time, and the next one is the Haas driver of Walter then as he makes his way towards his line. What can he do? 34.7 then, 4/10 off of Mark's time. Pyro making his way towards the line to start a flying lap, and Joshua the next one to cross the line now. Let's see what he can do. P3 for the Alfa Romeo, the Williams then of Javon Vizsla, the championship leader, across the line, and I think he validated that lap like you said.
Yeah, they did indeed.
Pyro's crashed. That's a massive shame for him.
Another victim of turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's been struggling there recently, and sadly for Pyro, he is out. So 2 drivers out Q3, one because of a qualifying ban, and the other one crashed in the wall. But Cameron Dowds is back in the pit lane, and for the second time in a row, Root Hullet has invalidated his lap time then. So that's a massive shame for him. So we'll have to definitely go back in the pit lane because those softs won't have the maximum performance. And yeah, he's running out of fuel anyway, so he has to go back in the soft compound. Has to go on the different tyres to set a lap time. Javon Vizsla is out there on the track, making his way towards. I'm not quite sure if he's on a lap time. No, I don't think he is. Is he? No, he's not. He's not.
No, they're not. No. Jerome is on another lap as well. They are going for it at the moment. See what the middle sector's looking like. 103.1 for the middle sector. That's not exactly quick. As how to get this out of the way? Oh, I think Jerome might have either run out of fuel, anyways, or close to the limit. I think Jerome has now backed out. But so far, it's Mark who looks good at the moment. Cameron Dowd's immediately back for a second run, so just wants to go early rather than leaving it to the last minute.
Using the tyres in Q2, I wonder if he's got more than like 2 tyre compounds, because he did that one run in Q1 and did the medium run as well in Q2. Looks so Cameron Dowson has tyres that he can play with in this qualifying session, just in case he validates one of them. But 5 minutes and 30 seconds left to go then, on the track earlier than everybody else, and let's see then what Cameron Dowds has to offer in Q3 then. Last time out he sat on pole position on his return to CRL, being a full-time race driver and also winning that race as well. So here comes Cameron Dowds then on the main straight, headed into Tier 1, third gear, corner. Oh, he goes too wide, has Cameron Dowds. Seen it in the past and it's happened now again. So Cameron Dowds then, luckily, he validates it on the first part of the lap, so he hasn't taken too much life out of those tyres, and he's taken the 2021 route as well.
It does seem that way, yes.
2022, sorry. No, 2021, yeah, sorry. I got confused there.
I had to think about that for a second. I was like, 2021?
Yeah.
But, yeah, almost took out the advertising board as well on his approach turn 1, but does Cameron Dowd have more fuel in that Mercedes, or will he have to go back in? He might just have enough time to get in and back out again, but it's be a bit of tyre wasted as McLaren makes their way back out onto the track as well.
There he is then. McLaren driver of Ruud Huller had a good race back at the Austrian Grand Prix where he started on the medium compound tyres. I'm not quite sure if he got knocked out of Q2, that's why he started the mediums, but he made his way nicely through the field. I think he took about 4. No, he actually crashed with Mark. Mark retired on the last lap, and Ruud Huller had sustained damage as well in that McLaren. So here he is then in the McLaren. The Finnish driver makes his debut, I think fully now for CRL. Or he's just a reserve driver, but yeah, still people in the pit lane with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go. Cameron Dowds makes his way towards the final and is in the pit lane. So yeah, like you said, yeah, I think he only fueled that car for 1 lap only. As you can see, the fuel light is popping up very early, so he was confident that he'd do 1 lap on these tyres and go back in. But yeah, he's evaluated it and still hasn't set a lap time on the board yet. Has Cameron Dowds. Neither has Pyro, he's retired anyway. Jeroen Visser, neither, our championship leader in P7. So it looks like some people are struggling on the course of this track.
Interesting, the 2 Alfa Romeos come out line of Sterling as well. Mark overtaken their teammate. I thought they might have been trying some kind of double toe or something, but probably we'll see. But they're all starting to come out now. The AlphaTauri making their way out as well. We are starting to get to that phase where drivers are coming out for 1 more run. So far it's Mark on pole.
Mark has taken pole before back at the Brazilian Grand Prix, but sadly he couldn't convert it into a win. So if he takes pole here tonight, let's see what he could do for the race. Currently on pole by 4 tenths as well. It must be said by a margin, so Mark looking really comfortable. And can he improve his lap time with a 44.3 as we're on board with Ruud Huller then, making his way towards turn 3 and turn 4, now down into turn 5 and turn 6, then 17.1 for the first set to rise the curve very nicely as well. To the second part, only touching that inside curve, don't want to touch that sausage curve because it'll mount your car off the track. Make his way through the hairpin as well off turn 7, gets a really good exit. So this lap time so far is really good from the Finnish driver. DRS enabled then as we make our way down the back straight, approaching about 195 miles per hour, 315 kilometers an hour if you want it in those metrics, as we make our way to the heavy braking zone then, down into 4th gear. I'm surprised it shift down to 2nd or 3rd because I've never seen anyone take it through 4th gear, but looks like he had the confidence to go through there in 4th gear and also not upshifted for traction as he's already in 4th gear, making his way onto the second straight, coming down into turn 11 then. 57.3, that's the best sector I've seen so far when I've been on board with somebody. But taking these curves really nice today. Oh, the rear just unsettling as we make our way to the left-hander turn 14. Then you can see the rear just sliding there as he applies the throttle. Really pushed on these tyres. These tyres are not giving the grip he really wants. But as we come down into turn 17, then that's how he takes it in these low-speed corners where grip is crucial as well, and getting on traction as well. Doesn't go too wide. Uses all the track on the exit. Very nice through there. Doesn't hit the wall either. Coming towards turn 20. Let's see how it takes it very nicely now through turn 21. Stays in fourth gear. Fifth on the exit. Goes a bit wide. It spins and he's hit the wall. He's out of qualifying. Oh, it's a massive shame there from the McLaren driver.
I wonder if they used too many higher gears. They went into the final corner in fifth gear. Wonder if they just shifted a bit too early. But that would have been a very interesting lap there. We saw how good their final middle sector was, but that's such a shame. They'll be furious with themselves, surely.
Oh, look at Mark in the middle sector, gone 2/10 quicker in that middle sector, so Mark's the flyer at the moment. Can he hook it up for the rest of the lap? And he's already in pole position by 4/10 as well, so looking really comfortable. Also one of those drivers on the medium compound tyres, P's in P5, has to have a good qualifying because he's one of the drivers on the soft compound tyres, so it's pivotal for him to have a really good qualifying session and get up the order as much as he can to pull away from those medium runners further behind. But Mark making his way now towards the final two corners, gets it nice on the exit and the entry as well. Now to the final corner, let's see what lap time Mark has. Across the line now, it's a 34.2. Goes quicker by 4/10. Lost a bit of time in that middle in the last sector, but nevertheless he extends his advantage. And is anybody out there to beat it? Head bumpy across the line to go for another run. I saw Joshua backing out of his other lap because must have made a mistake somewhere. But qualifying is over then. Is anybody out there on a flyer? Where's Total P's?
Dalton did too bad of a middle sector as well. Looks all neat and tidy. Although they've just had a little bit of understeer. One of the Alphas, the ESW Junior, making their way pitting. Their best start time is third then. Cameron Dowdsden will be the next one to cross the line. They're right over the orange curb as well. I haven't seen a number of drivers doing that. But Cameron Dowdsden, there's a 134.1. They're on provisional pole.
So after two invalidations, he finally hooks it up on the last lap and puts himself on pole position. We're just awaiting Walter now, currently on our lap time. Went slightly down in the middle sector. Let's see what he can do then in this final sector. Will he gain the time back as we make our way towards the final corner? He crossed the line now. What's he going to be? Stays P3, but he does improve by 4/10 of a second, so good lap there from Walter. Chavuva's the next to cross the line. It's P1 with a 33.8! Wow! 3/10 quicker than Cameron Dowds. Pulls it out of the bag at the very last moment.
P's fifth fastest as well, and Het Bomjet has retired. That means, and Mark's backed out, of course, which means the championship leader will start this race from pole position right at the end. They got one lap and they did it.
Oh, what a lap time from Chavuva there. Just pulled it out of the bag at the very last minute there. 33.8. What a lap time indeed. And Cameron Downs joining him on the first row. It's going to be a fantastic fight. We didn't really see the fight with Cameron Downs or P's because they just they were in a league of their own in the last race in Austria. 1-2 for them. They just pulled away like it was the 2020 Austrian Grand Prix. But yeah, let's see then. A good battle between Cameron and Jeroen Visser, who on the wheel, also with Mark in P3 as well. P's in P5, not a good qualifying session for him. He was looking to get further up at the grid because of those soft compound tyres. But Q3 has ended and Jeroen is on pole. Oh, yeah.
How many 2021 Abu Dhabi jokes am I going to make?
I don't know who's a fan of who, but yeah, I'm not saying anything. And Jeroen Visser then P1 in the Williams ahead of Cameron Downs and P2 in the Mercedes. Alfa Romeo of Mark in P3 with Walter in P4, P5. Good qualifying from Josh in P6, Bob Pio P7, and three drivers that did not set a lap time. Two of them crashed, and one of them had a Q3 ban.
I'm really it's a shame we never saw the lap time from the McLaren. It's a shame. I would have liked to see where they would have been in comparison, but they lost it all on their own accord. So mistakes can happen. They've got a whole race to recover from that, though.
Yeah, I was just gonna go to get a quick drink and I'll be back.
So as we wait for the drivers to pick their strategies, make any adjustments they can within the Part 5 regulations. I suppose this is a shameless plug to say, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel as well. They'll all be super appreciative of it as well. And if you're new, you've just wandered by, definitely take a look at what the Cone Racing League are offering. There is a high quality of racing here, and we'll wait and see. And I think they've returned from their drink now.
Yep, got a drink right next to me so I could take a sip at any time.
Oh.
I've done commentary for 2 races in a row now, so yeah, I need the energy as much as I can. Make commentator for both.
I should have considered it. I should have considered getting one as well, but hindsight is 20/20.
So, mate, have you raced around this track before?
Ooh, I'm trying to think the last time I raced around here. I think actually the very last time I raced here was with CRL a couple of seasons ago. It was what was it, season 3, when I announced I was retiring for about 1 season and came back. So that was the last time I raced around here. But yeah, it's a difficult it's a difficult track if you haven't got it perfectly optimized in terms of setup and confidence. So see how they go.
Yeah, last time I raced around this track in the well, wrong tyre strategy. I didn't realise you could do. I've always known it to be a 2-stop strategy around Abu Dhabi, but turns out it's actually a 1-stop strategy now in this game. Previous races, from previous experiences, there's 2 stops that always work. But yeah, it's a 1-stop for most, I think all the races now. In fact, it's maybe Mexico, that could be a 2-stop strategy. But
Singapore maybe is another one potentially.
Yeah. Bahrain used to be a 2-stop, but well, if you want the soft core power tyres, it was a 2-stop. But due to the it is now a 1-stop for most of them.
Is Spain a 1-stop or 2-stopper? I suppose you might be able to get away with if
you can extend the soft compound tyres and go on the hards, then yes, it is. Hungary, I think, is another 1-stop as well.
Yeah, Hungary. I remember editing one. I know Hungary you can do 1-stop now. It's a bit weird. I miss the days when it was like 2 or 3-stop strategies, but now the tyres are much more durable now, and they can all do 1-stoppers as well. So yeah, it's a strange world, strange world of it all. But someone's been disqualified. That was the AlphaTauri of Scream, already crushed out in Q1, and now they're gonna have very cold tyres for the race start as well. Not ideal for them.
Look further down P16 and P18, we've got 2 drivers of Andreas and Mr. Ben Rydell on the soft compound tyres, so that's very interesting, going on the soft compound tyres there. So I wonder how that's going to pan out for them. The Red Bull Pyro has lagged out, so hopefully he can rejoin the session. He's also on the soft compound tyres. But yeah, let's see how the strategy goes then. Their strategy, making as many places as they can on the opening lap, and let's see what they can gain, and let's see what they can capitalise on those soft compound tyres. But all the drivers, they're lining up on the grid. Mr.
BT copying Hep Bombier's strategy of no helmet, it seems. Will make their way onto the grid. They're all nicely, tightly packed together, so Jerome will not have to wait too long on the grid and won't lose temperature on those medium tyres as well, for good measure.
Lesty, nice to see you in the stream, mate. And you know, I've been commentating for 2 races in a row now, so hopefully I can have the energy for this one. But yeah, all the drivers then lining up on the grid. As Snelton takes his place on the grid. Pyro doesn't look like he's in the session. The car's still ghosted, so it looks like he's not here, sadly for him. But we're just waiting for the lights now to go out. There they are, the 3, 4 and 5, and we're going to be underway as one driver has picked up a drive-through penalty. Cameron Downs looks like he's got a good start from Javoon Visser as we make our way down into turn 1. Cameron has the inside line, Javoon has the outside, but gets better traction and better exit as well for good measure. As Walter side by side with Pease there, the 2 championship rivals going side by side as Pease is on the curb there, takes out the marker board as well. And Rudy's retired already.
Rudy's gone, and that's on the exit of turn 3. I'm not sure if they lost it all on their own.
Oh, contact there from Walter and Pease, but thankfully they both keep it on the track. And Pease is going around the outside of Walter, the exit of turn number 5 or 7, and he's right behind him now. But no safety car looks like Rudy then has definitely lost it, coming out of turn number 2 then, and sadly he is out of the race early doors as Pease is right behind Walter. Few cars behind, bunching up together as Yogurt's down the inside of Root Hiller, making a lot of places.
Oh, someone spun. That's your. Oh no, I thought it wasn't. Apologies, ignore me. I thought Yogurt had spun then. I just saw a car losing the rear on contact, but Yogurt, of course, that drive-through penalty. They'll be in the pits in the next 3 laps. I haven't seen much of a gain for the 2 Alpines on the soft tyres as well. In fact, BT's gone backwards on those soft tyres as well, so not an ideal start for them.
No, it is a bit. Andreas has gained a few positions, but not more than he would have liked. But anyway, he's right behind to Griff now, as we had a 3-wide moment between Troye, Sieb and Robbie, and they all sorted themselves out before turn number 11 and kept it clean, and Troye was the winner of that battle. So yeah, Andreas then stuck behind those guys, and C4 Gamers continued to lose positions as well down there in P16. I think he did start at the side of the top 10. He spun and he hit the wall. Oh, he's so close to hit the wall there. That was so close.
Heart and stamp moment for these McLaren drivers, it must be said. But Sieb returns back on and cuts the pit lane as well, but all okay for the time being. But that's another scary moment for them. They're thankfully still in the race, but they'll need a safety car to be brought back in because they are 10 seconds off the pack now as a result of that spin.
Andreas cut the corner, and he goes down the inside of turn 7 as well, down the inside of Scriff, but he cut the corner as he tried to go down the inside into turn 5, so he definitely picked up a penalty. C4 Gamer spun again. Shame for him.
Overheated tyres potentially, as Griff has lost out to the Alpine. As you mentioned, whether or not they'll consider that corner, they'll be upset with that corner cut, we'll see. Meanwhile, top 2 almost within a second of each other. Of course, DRS doesn't activate until the end of the 2nd lap, so Cameron Dowd's just doing enough to stay within that DRS zone, only temporarily. But in fact, all of the drivers are within a second of each other. They'll all have DRS on each other, so you're going to have a very long DRS train at the end of this. Yeah,
we are indeed, as you mentioned there, from like P1 all the way down to like P18, all one big train. But Robbie going down the inside into Griff there. Optimistic move, he almost spins the car and saves it. But what a move, watch attempt to move there for Robbie. Tried to go down the inside, he had enough of that DRS train already. And first penalty goes towards, in terms of corner cutting, is that scream down there in P18. He also got disqualified from the formation lap. But it's pivotal for Cameron to stay in the DRS range of Giroud versus Mark. Yogurt goes to the pit lane to serve his drive-through penalty, but yeah, Cameron Dowds is really crucial for him to stay in that DRS range of Giroud versus, and Mark's dropping out of it. So is Walter behind Mark as well. So Walter on the soft compound tyres along with Joshua, Pyro, Bobbia. I think it's few of these. I think I looked at the wrong graphic as well. I think I looked on the best graphic or the tyre graphic they were on in Q2, so I definitely looked at the wrong graphic because I thought about 3 drivers started on the soft compound tyres, but Walter's just in DRS range, and Cameron Dowds has crawled his way back in that DRS range of Javoon.
Bombi has just lost out to 8th place there, and down the inside went Anden, lunging down the inside of Nathan, and Nathan bouncing over the curb, and the Alpine is going to capitalise on that straight away. And then moving up the field into the top 10 already, as Valter is ahead of Mark. Valter ahead of the Alfa Romeo.
I don't think Mark would care too much about that because he's on the soft compound tyres, of course. So he didn't want to fight too hard with the soft one. He could stay in his DRS range to try and regenerate some of that lost CRS. But Walter, crucial for him, up into P3 on those soft compound tyres. He's looking to close the gap between Cameron Dowds, who's right at the back of Giroud Vizza now. He's managed to reduce that 1 second gap, and that DRS assisted him down the straights, has brought him closer now as he was struggling earlier on to try and get the DRS zone of Giroud Vizza. He was pulling away nicely, but thanks to that DRS being activated, he is right with him. And Walter then 1.4 seconds behind. Can he try and utilise these soft tyres? But Pyro's retired.
And it's on the final corner again.
It's a safety car.
It's an early safety car as well, so will that play into the hands of the soft runners maybe for an early pit stop?
A soft runner's dream.
Could they pit and go to the end?
Hards, yes. Mediums, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, that's the next question. Will anyone take a gamble? We'll see. Valtteri, of course, is the first of the soft runners. So it'll be up to them. Of course, all those that start on the medium tyres will have to stay. Will more than likely stay out unless they want to do something absurd, maybe. But
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for the soft runners to pit, and also for the medium runners, they have to stay out there because it's too early. One, it's too early, and two, you don't want to lose that track position either. It's an easy one stop from there as well. Don't go on the hardcore power tyres and lose out all that time. So, yeah, I think that we'll see the medium runners stay out, and Mr. BT down there in P14 will also pit as well to get rid of those softcore power tyres. Try to be optimistic with the strategy. I'm not quite sure if the game chose it for him or he chose it for himself, because like sometimes you can do that with the game, choose the strategy for you, or if he gets pressed the right strategy options. But yeah, he'll pit. Andreas in P9 got himself in the top 10. He did start outside the top 10. I think he got knocked out of Q1, and he's gained a lot of places in P9 as well, so the safety cars came out perfect for him. And yeah, that's DRS is disabled then, won't be active until the safety car comes in after 2 laps as well, after the safety car.
Yeah, that might play into Jerome's hand as well. If he can pull away from Cameron, Cameron will have to do exactly what they did in the first 3 laps and keep within that DRS range. And interesting, Valtter's backing off slightly there, and Valtter is indeed coming in, as is also the interesting. Oh, I thought the Alfa Romeo was coming in. They're not, but all of the soft runners, as you probably guessed, are coming into the pits.
Soft runners' dream that the safety car came out early probably helped their race as well. So let's see what tyres they have gone on to as they make their way into the pit lane then. So let's have an indication. Medium tyres.
Yeah, they are going for it, so confident they can get to the end maybe, we'll see. The AlphaTauri Scream has switched on from mediums to soft tyres, interestingly. As is Andreas as well. Andreas has gone for another set of the soft tyres, so Andreas on a definite 2-stop strategy. Rather intriguing.
He got knocked out of Q1, so he has all the soft tyres to play with. And Mr. BT chooses track position over then a brand new set of tyres then, so that's interesting for Mr. BT to stay out there on the set of the soft compound tyres, and let's see how the strategy plays out for him once the race starts to continue over. But I think it's one of those cases where if you don't pit, you have the safety car to reduce the tyre wear on the soft compound tyres then, so they can take them even longer and probably go on the medium tyres. So that's a strategy there for Mr. BT, not to go in the pit lane. But C4 Gamer has gone onto the hard compound tyres down there in P18, so he believes the mediums can't go. Well, he started the mediums anyway, and I think he wants to get off them and had to choose a different set of tyres to go on the hard compound tyres. That's probably why he's on the hards. Don't want to go on the soft compound tyres because yeah, he's down in last place, and yeah, he spun early on in the race. Let's see what he could do for P18 then, as he gets himself a second chance of this race to try and make something out of it. But interestingly, that Scream has gone into a set of soft compound tyres along with Andreas, like you said earlier on, so let's see how they perform through the field.
Yeah, Andreas will be the intriguing one. Of course, they, as you mentioned, they have to stop again, but they will have to come through the field for a second time, down in 16th place. A lot of drivers ahead of them have pitted for fresh mediums as well, so Andreas has got to do a lot of overtaking. They made such an explosive start earlier on in the first 3 laps. They made up a number of places, and they're clearly not afraid to go for an overtake here every now and again, but Andreas has got to do a lot before they make another pit stop. So aggressive call there by the Alpine driver. We'll see if it pays off.
And C4 Gamer hasn't caught up with the queue, so the safety car will stay out one more lap, and we'll see some racing action on lap 7 out of 28 then. So yeah, like you said, Andreas will have to make his way through the field for the second time in this race. He went up to P9 where Mr. BT, his teammate, is, and I think that's one of the reasons why Mr. BT didn't pit as well, because he had to double stack by his teammate, potentially end up in 17th place because C4 Game was too far back anyway. So probably why he didn't want to pit, didn't want to do so much time, and chose track position. I wonder how those soft tyres will cope for 5 laps. They are brand new as well because they didn't do qualifying on those soft compound tyres that they joined late in Q1. So Mr. BT has a lot of soft compound tyres to play with, and also mediums. But yeah, we'll see what happens on the safety car restart. There's a new rule in there about the safety car restart. You're not allowed to go side by side with anybody like Max Verstappen did on Lewis Hamilton. Yeah,
they've banned that now, so we won't see drivers doing that. I'm not 100% sure if that's also applied in CRL as well, but yeah, we'll see how that plays out. We can't see drivers lining up alongside one another, so Cameron Dowds will just have to wait patiently for the safety car to come in, which should be at the end of this lap, we hope. And then
I'm surprised they did it in Australia, like they applied the rule for Australia, because he did it twice. He did it in Bahrain with Charles Leclerc, and he did it in the final race. You would have thought they would have done something after the final race if they didn't feel like it was the correct way to do the safety car, you know what I mean? Because they waited till Australia to do it.
It's intriguing that, because you'd think, as the safety car is indeed coming in at the end of this lap, it's a surprising one, because when usually you see something like that, when something's... I'm not sure why they took so long with it. Maybe they thought maybe it's just a one-time incident with in light of Abu Dhabi, but of course we've now got new race directors in, and I imagine as soon as they saw what happened in Jeddah, they immediately put a stop to it. So we'll see what our new dual referee race directors will do going forward, and can they promote the consistency and transparency we seem to lost in 2021 or even before then.
Yeah, the most penalties handed out was the 2021 race, and it was Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc getting those penalties, picking up those 5 seconds penalties back in Austria. But yeah, like you said, inconsistency. But here we go then, Giroud Visser, probably dummy camber, because look at the gap he's already got. He had massive wheel spin and Kenny camber down. He's under pressure from Mark, so Giroud Visser timed that beautifully, calculated really well. And Mark is putting pressure on Cameron Downs Jr. in second place then, so Cameron Downs caught lacking at the restart. Walter's got past his teammate Snell on different tyres, of course. Here comes Pease down the inside. He would love to follow through, and there he goes then, side by side with the Haas driver. Gets past him, Bog just past him. He had to make that move because his championship rival's right there. You don't want to get stuck behind a driver who was on older tyres, and Robbie is right behind. He goes side by side there, down into turn 5 we go then, and look at that, Robbie trying to get past, but Griff has the racing line. And Robbie, will he try to do the same move he did before? No, he doesn't, and Griff then stays in P6. Robbie then get a wheel spin at the exit, as you see. They lose the back end as he applied the throttle them. So onto the main straight we go. Who's close enough to make an overtake? No DRS, of course, until about 2 laps, as Mark's right behind Cameron Downs, and Root Huller's there as well. Yogurt down in 12th place then, overtaking Snell for P12. And here comes Andreas on Joshua, the soft compound tyre.
Walter went straight down the inside of BT. Oh, and BT's round as well, for good measure.
So what happened there? I had a beautiful shot. Mr. BT bounced over the curb and into Walter. So that curb then just bouncing into another driver. So yeah, that's a shame there for Mr. BT on the soft compound tyres. Peas and Yogurt fighting for P10.
But remember, of course, Yogurt has not made a pit stop this race as well. Peas does not want to be fighting against some of these drivers for too long. This will be the danger though for the likes of Walter and Peas. They've got to get past all these drivers, and Walter almost diving down the inside of Troyer there. Ambition ahead of adhesion there, but the longer they get stuck behind them, the more it plays in the hands of those like Jerome and Cameron Dowds, who have not yet made a pit stop. So they need to get past these cars quickly, because they're going to be held up as a result. So this could play right into the hands of Jerome and Cameron again if they get held up for too long. And
also, they don't have to do if they do have to do a two-stop to Walter and Pease, yeah, they have to make up that lost time right behind these guys as well. Joshua getting past Andreas for P13. Re-overtaking him. Andreas has looked like he's made a mistake, and he's side by side, but that scream is spun at turn 2.
And Valter's just tapped the rear of Troyer there as well. Went for another ambitious move as well. Valter is really giving it absolutely everything, but explosive restart at the moment.
A bit too ambitious is Walter, desperately trying to get past Troyer there in the Williams. The Williams of Troyer did help his teammate in qualifying when he gave him that lovely tow, and he's doing the same here as well in Abu Dhabi as Snell. And Andreas, and something's going on. Oh, Andreas outbreaks himself, and he allows... Oh, he clips it.
Oh, and another spin.
Same car as well.
Back-to-back Alpines as well. That's not ideal for Andon. They need to be moving forward. But
look at Walter.
Walter finally gets past Troyer as well. He's had a number of attempts to do so.
Look at Pease. He overtakes him immediately, does Pease.
And that will hurt Walter as well. Walter would have hoped that they could have dropped Pease behind Troyer, but Pease getting past immediately will put pressure on Walter as well. But next one ahead is Robbie into Griff. They're in a scrap with each other, and we'll have DRS enabled at the end of this lap, of course, as well. Not really going to help Walter, of course, as well, because they're all in a DRS of each other. Cameron Dowds has been dropped from Jerome as well this time as well. Jerome 1.1 seconds clear, so Dowds this time will not have the DRS to aid them.
Yeah, Mark crucially then is a DRS provider for the guys behind because he's 2 seconds behind Cameron Dowes. All over the back of him in the restart, but Cameron and Jeroen just seem to check out the front and pulled away from the rest of the field there. But Cameron Dowes has to get himself back in that DRS range. He's about 1.2 seconds, so he needs to find a bit more pace. And Jeroen are doing a good job to manage the pace in first place, trying to pull out the Cameron Dowes DRS. And Root Hullet then is right behind Mark, ready to overtake him for P3. Root Hullet started in P9 and he's up into going to P3 right now. Here he goes then as Griff overtakes Nathan for P5. And yeah, good move there from Root Hullet as Griff then gets past Nathan. Both Aston Martins are P6 and P7 on the same strategy on the medium compound tyres. Both Aston Martins doing a good job despite having a wretched qualifying, but they're both fighting each other right now as Robbie then goes around the outside of his Aston Martin teammate and claims P6. Robbie, I think, was one of the drivers that got knocked out in Q1, and yeah he was, wasn't he? So up to P6.
Yeah, bear in mind, of course, top 7 have not made a pit stop yet, but yeah, this is good so far for them. They're making good recovery there. And Nathan as well, I think, wisely realising Robbie is the quicker of the two of them and didn't really hold up their teammate as well, as Robbie can go chasing after to Griff once again. Valter, though, with a 3-second time penalty. That could hurt the end.
Cameron Dowes has retired!
Ooh.
And he's crashed! Where's he crashed? He probably crashed...
That's just before the penultimate corner. We've got a virtual safety car out, and Marcus straight in as well. And what a shame for Cameron Dowds. That's not ideal for them. If they pushed a little bit too hard, Scream trying to go around the Mercedes there as they went into the pit lane. Almost had to do almost a 5-mile-an-hour crawl to get past the stricken Mercedes. But Cameron Dowds, they look so good at the start. And that's one big thread eliminated for Jeroen then.
I'm intrigued to Mark's strategy because Mark has got a brand new set of mediums. Bearing in mind he starts in the mediums anyway, so yeah, it's a definite 2-stop for Mark. Medium, softs. So yeah, Mark has to really push down and make the use of those medium compound tyres until he gets the softs. But Andreas has picked up a drive-through penalty. And
it just came out of the pit lane, and yeah, that's unlikely for them. Also mentioned, Andreas has gone onto soft tyres again. They haven't been on any other tyre barring soft tyres. As Robbie gets ahead of De Griff finally, Valter's trying to find a way past Nathan as well. But Andreas is on a free-stop strategy, guaranteed.
Yeah, and that was so close between Walter and Nathan. A beautiful helicopter cam there, and Walter was so close on Nathan's rear wing, but thankfully they made contact between the two. Pease is right behind as well, looking to make his way through, but Mark then in P10 has clear. Root Hullet has got himself a 3-second time penalty in that McLaren. But Mark then really interesting strategy for him then down in P10. Did he meet on the medium compound tyres? Not quite sure. Hards could make it to the end, but did he want to go the hards? I'm not quite sure if he did want to or not. I think the strategy is mediums to softs as it seems, but P's then right behind Walter. And you said Andreas been on 3 different sets of softs. He used all of his soft tyres like he would have done in qualifying, and just going fully flat out, it seems.
Yeah, and he's got a drive-through penalty as well for good measure. So that'll be his 4th entry into the pit lane, plus another one later on as well. So as ESW Junior for the Alfa Romeo pits as well for a fresh set of what I imagine will be the medium tyres. Keeping an eye on Valter as well. Valter's ended up back behind Nathan. Have I missed something? I don't know if I've missed something.
I think Nathan got ahead of me yet again as Walter goes down the inside. Nathan then trying to fight as hard as he can for his Aston Martin teammate, but he's half spun the car and he saves it as well.
Yeah, and SP's going to capitalise on that as well. You can see Valter, the flashing red light there means they are low on energy recovery system, but has got enough pace to stay ahead then. So Nathan inadvertently losing out as a result of that. But they're both making their way up the field. Valter's next target then is the Ferrari of De Griff. But Pease is still right behind them. Meanwhile, Jeroen stretching their legs out in front with a 2.4 second lead out to Root Hullet in 2nd place.
Robbie started down in P17, he's got up to P3, benefited for the safety car, some good moves as well in that race, so he's done a fantastic job overall. Robbie hasn't had a podium yet this season, was lost it at the final corner, did the Hungarian, but yeah, he hasn't hasn't got a podium this season. He did on 2 occasions, but those 2 occasions ended up as a post-race penalty. All 3 Aston Martin drivers, in fact, all 3 podiums for Aston Martin got taken away from Nathan and Robbie. But I think they did score a legit podium this time, and that was back in Saudi Arabia when Nathan took the podium, and it was their first podium of the season. So yeah, lost a lot of points as Aston Martin, and Pease is crawling all over the back of the Haas driver of Walter, who's also essentially right behind to Griff as well. To Griff in P4, he's currently 10th in the championship standings, looking to try and get himself secured in that top 10. But Walter has to think about defending and overtaking as well, because Pease has got a lot more ERS, and Pease knows that because of the flashing light at the back of Walter's car. And yeah, can't get past Griff on this occasion, too far back to make any move, but can he get a good exit coming out of turn number 9?
That's a better exit, I think, for Pease. I think Pease is going to have him here. Valter switches to the right hand side, but to Griff, gets both of them as well.
What a move from Pease there.
And look at Valter as well, trying to go around the outside of the Ferrari as well. And the Ferrari, I think, is just going to hold on here. Valter's going to either be forced wide or try and go around the outside. They're going to run off the track there, and I think was always going to be squeezed off, but Valter gets ahead. Almost did.
No, he has to give the place back. He overtook off the track.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's played right into Pease's hand though. Valter, the big loser out of all that. Pease is now the leading pit runner, if you want to call them that. They've made their mandatory pit stop. Andreas is
Walter spun! Walter has spun, did the same as Cameron Downs, but doesn't retire. And the safety car has been fully deployed, and Head Bompia immediately goes into the pit lane. But yeah, Andreas, further behind, also has retired as well. Yeah, but I was actually going to go aboard with someone there, Andreas, but at the corner of my eye I saw Walter lose the car, so I had to went back on board with him immediately. But luckily for him, a safety cars came out.
Yeah, that will mitigate the damage for the Haas driver. But now we've got an intriguing safety car for those who haven't pitted yet, as in the top 3 plus to Griff and Nathan. We're in the mid phase of the race. Will they all switch onto the soft tyres? Imagine, they can probably do 14, 15 laps. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one. I think the safety car coming at the end of lap 15 will have 13, 14 laps on the soft compound tyres, so it'll be very interesting if Mark can make it to the end. He had to pit, did Mark, medium, soft, so his strategy didn't really work well because the safety car came out, but at least he was able to change onto a different tyre this time in P10.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on what the top 3 do. We of course imagine they'll pit, but
it's worked well for Robbie Edson in P3.
Yeah, definitely. We have good mention from them, starting from the back of the grid as well. Nathan as well, not doing, actually both Aston Martins, 3rd and 6th at the moment for both of them. The only awkward thing for them is because they both have to make a pit stop, they'll have to double stack, but have they got a sufficient gap? You can see Nathan's just coming out of turn 18. Robbie's a couple of corners ahead. Can they time this perfectly to minimise the damage? They are coming in, understandably so. Nathan, you can see they're actually slowing down, realising there is a double stack incoming. On go the hard tyres for Hullet as well. Soft tyres for Giron.
Awkward. It's awkward timing for Pease as well, because he was hoping to get those guys, and the safety car came again, so he pitted. So essentially, hasn't gained anything as total Pease, looking to extend his stint on the medium compound tyres and try and pull away. But yeah, not worked out for Pease at all.
I think is going to get ahead of Nathan. Nathan's going to come out in a whole heap of traffic. Are they going to come out ahead of Valter? That's going to be nip and tuck, but Nathan has jumped Valter as a result of that as well. That's crucial for them. That's good stuff, but yeah, Hullet on the hard tyres. Is that going to be instant regret or not?
Yeah, has to warm them up as much as he can. Make use of the safety car, try and warm up these hard compound tyres to get him in the working range and push as hard as he can. He's got Robbie. I think he'll definitely lose a place to Robbie being on the softs, 2 steps softer, and yeah, Robbie will have the most heated tyres out of Root Hullet there, as the hard takes longer to warm up. So Robbie then should be at the back of Root Hullet and overtaking. He can't afford to stay behind him if he wants a shot at winning this race. Robbie Could he get his third chance of a podium from the previous two taken away from him? We'll see then.
We shall see. We've still got half a race to go. It'll be interesting if these soft tyres, if they burn them out too quickly, could the McLaren will it come back into this race? We'll see. But it's an intriguing time at the moment. I think we've got a mixture of strategies, a mixture of things that could or could not go wrong. For Geraint at the moment, it's been picture perfect. They've led every lap at the moment. Eighth. At the moment, it looks like it's theirs to lose given their pace, but I believe commentator's curse exists, so I'm just going to not say anything more.
Total P's, I think, is in a good position in P4 because those softs, once their peak performance starts to come to an end, that's when I expect Total P's to be on the back of them. So I think the mediums is the best tire to be on. But yeah, the soft compound tyres, they're really going to manage their pace and try and do a little bit of management because 14 laps is quite a stretch for the soft compound tyres. So I can't wait to see how this turns out. People on different strategies. Abu Dhabi proving to be one of the good races. Usually classed as a boring race, especially in real life, but Abu Dhabi then, the Yas Marina circuit, or maybe that's, yeah, it's Yas Marina, I thought it was, yeah.
We should probably give some context for the discussion we had previously. We were trying to determine whether this was Yas Marina or Marina Bay. Kept getting it confused with Singapore.
Yeah, I thought Yas Marina was Singapore and Marina Bay was this track here. I don't know, it just makes more sense, like Yas Marina is Singapore, Marina Bay is here. I don't know why.
Yeah, there is a bay here in Singapore, so the logic would be this is Marina Bay, but it's not. Yes, Marina Bay. Despite in Singapore, there is no bay at all. It's over an underground train/tram tube. You worked that one out. I'm not sure. But. Yeah, as we see drivers weaving. You see, is the weaving excessively to try and get some temperature in those hard compound tyres. The soft one is not so much easier to generate temperature in them. We should get the safety car in at the end of this lap now. Mr. BT has got the back of the field, still with no helmet, and driving Fernando Alonso's car it seems. But yeah, let's see, yeah. Intriguing. I'm just very intrigued as to how this is all going to play out. Safety car is indeed coming in at the end of this lap.
Quite excited because you can see a lot of people on different strategies here. Robbie's going to be very quick, Giroux's going to be very quick on those sauce. Nathan down there in P7 joining his Aston Martin teammate on the same strategy. Mark in P10 as well on the soft compound tyres as well. So which strategy is better? I dare say Root Hill there down in P2, up into P2 there. Might be will definitely struggle at the start of this race. But when those hards start to grip in, let's see what he can do from there in P2. But all the hard work he's done so far, after he crashed in Q3, he's done a fantastic job. But here's the hard tyres, his kryptonite to his race. But Giroux's second safety car restart, controlled it beautifully once Cameron Dowd, he pulled away from him. And yeah, he hasn't got Cameron Dowd right behind. He's got an advantage, Giroux, because the driver behind him is on the hard compound tyres. So you expect him to pull away. He won't be under any threat unless it's a mistake. There he goes then.
Yeah. Not as amazing as his first restart was, but that's good enough to keep him ahead, and we're back under racing on lap 16.
Let's see where Robbie decides to overtake Ruhullet then. Robbie at turn 1 is too far back, but can he try and get a decent exit out of turn 1? Try and get him towards before turn 5, because he'll have more cornering speed in turn 2. And turn 3 you can see Ruhullet there really struggling on those hard compound tyres, just not gripping up. He's right behind him. Will he try and go for a turn 3, turn 4? No, he doesn't. Sits behind him. Might be a bit too much of a risky move there. You can see the McLaren driver sliding through the corners. Down into turn 7 we go. Nope, he doesn't go there either. He did on the previous 2 occasions. But look at him, he's pushing him through the corners, giving him assist through the corners, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this will be a very easy pass here. We'll be having a much better exit. And now it's just a drag race down. They're both deploying that. Well, Robbie was deploying his ERS. It was not, I think, realised exactly what was going to happen. And the Aston Martin up into second place. And now it's Pease almost pushing the McLaren along. And I think Elliott is about to lose a second place here. Will defend the inside line. That's all they really can do. Pease will have to be brave here and try and go round the outside. And for the time being,
he doesn't.
Pease has to stay behind. I think they were kind of boxed in as well because they couldn't brake late into that chicane with Robbie in the way as well. So Pease kind of sandwiched in there, but with those hard tyres struggling for grip initially, I think Pease might have an opportunity either on the next lap or later down the line, but Pease wants to make this move quickly and not be stuck behind the McLaren for too long because it will allow the top two to get away.
I think when Pease wants to overtake Ruhullet for P3 there, his fight will be between Robbie. Once Robbie's tyres starts wearing out, that's when we'll see a fight between Pease and Robbie. So I think it's a battle between those two, but Root Guilt there being in P3 on the hard compound tyres not worked out well for him because he's already 1.6 seconds behind Robbie, and under massive pressure for Pease as Yogurt goes into P12.
Down the inside of Troy, a good move there by the Red Bull there. Was keeping an eye on them. They timed that absolutely perfectly. Mark is on the back of
Hey, somebody's crashed!
Oh, that's the Haas of Snell gone, and also Scream as well. I think those two have made contact.
I think at the corner of my eye, I think they had both different incidents. I'm not quite sure. I don't think they both. I think they both had separate incidents. I don't think they crashed, but yeah, it's much a shame for both of them.
Yeah, front wing damage. Pease ahead of Hullet as well in all that. So McLaren dropped off the podium then. Scream with front wing damage, missing an end plate as well, so we'll be back in the pits. Seeb ahead of Mark as well, despite the fact Mark's actually on the softer compound of tyres as well, so that's not ideal. I think Mark might have made a mistake there, because they've dropped massively back as a result of that. And Robbie getting a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, Robbie!
That could be significant later on.
Come on, Robbie.
Mentioned earlier, Robbie's missed out on a few penalties. Could this one cost them later on? They've got a 2.8 second gap to Pease at the moment, and now it's up to 3 seconds. If the race was to end like this, it would be nip and tuck for a podium, but if those soft tyres start to go at the end, Robbie's 3-second time penalty here could be detrimental.
Indeed, and Robbie then looking for his first legitimate podium after getting the 2 taken away from him in the post-race. But Robbie really needs a good race to boost his confidence because he's had the pace, not the consistency, and sadly he couldn't really show it. And Pease almost made a mistake coming out of that first corner there, but keeps the car on the track and stays in P3. That Scream has also picked up a 3-second time penalty down there in P15. I believe DRS enabled then, but Rugulla, can he stay in DRS range of P's? Will that help him? Because to grip right behind, he's on a set of soft compound tyres, and if he stays in P4, if he follows P's, and if Robbie's tyres start to come to an end or falls off the cliff, Rugulla could be still in contention for a podium.
It also helps Hullet as well defend from to Griff as well. So Griff has DRS, but Hullet also having DRS, that kind of cancels out. You can see how late as well Hullet broke in comparison to Pease as well, so that will have shortened the gap up a little bit as well. But like you mentioned, if Hullet can just stay within that DRS window, and Pease has also run it as depleted a lot of their ES as well as Hullet, as Nathan blast past Het Bomvier as well as Valter as well. But this is really helpful for the McLaren here. They're just within that second window. And Pease at the moment not able to make an impression on the 2 soft runners yet, but of course because their tyres are so fresh, we imagine it won't be until later on before that happens.
Seeb and Mark going side by side there. Mark forced the way down the inside and gets past the McLaren driver on Seeb. Mark really has to benefit on these soft compound tyres, try to utilise them as best way as he can. He needs to start making his way up the field more on those soft compound tyres, like Nathan's doing in P6 in the Aston Martin when they both had to double stack. Nathan might have lost out, but it also gives Walter a second chance in this race because when that safety car came out, he also crashed where Cameron Dowds crashed and lost his front wing, so it gives him a second chance in this race. And safety car came at the right time for him. I was able to go back in the pit lane immediately, and Het Bomvier also followed through. So let's have a look at Ruhullet. He's still in the DRS range of P, so he's got some good pace on those hard compound tyres. Expected to Griff and Nathan to be all over the back of him, but he's doing a good job in P4. Oh, he's picked up a 3-second time penalty. I did not see that as well. So he has to purely fight Robbie on the track if his soft compound tyres does start to come to an end.
Yeah, absolutely. Pease and Hullet as well, both having the same issues, and they've not got a lot of ERS to play with. To Griff has got a bit more in comparison. Nathan's caught the back of them as well, but they kind of seem to be in a stalemate at the moment. Pease has got enough track position to stay ahead. Meanwhile, that gap out in front, stabilising at around 2 seconds as Mark now passes the AlphaTauri of Het Bomvier for 8th place then. Mark now will make their way up to meet Valter for 7th place. but he's not really closing in on the 2. They might come under pressure if they make a mistake, but Hullet has got picked up a second 3-second time penalty. So now 6 seconds worth of penalties for the McLaren as a result of that. That will be detrimental. If you look at the gap, actually, if the race was to finish now, what is that? 1.2, 1.7, 1. They'll drop well out of the top 10. They'll be down in around about 12th with how close it is at the moment. So, well, it will need to hope others pick up penalties around them.
Yeah, it's a shame for the McLaren driver. Pushed as hard as he can, but also just try to keep it as he bounced over the curb as he made his way towards turn number 6 there, but still in the DRS range. In fact, he's out of it, but did he pick up the DRS range before the detection point? No, he didn't. So P is able to get out of his DRS now, and to Griff then will be all over the back of him. The softs first, the hard you expect to Griff to be a little bit quicker than call it on this stage of the race, but we make our way down into the braking zone of turn 8. He's too far back to make a move, but we've got Walter and Nathan right at the back of the train as well.
Nathan braking so late into the chicane kept them in play as well, but both to Griff and Elliot don't have the ERS, but they do have DRS. And look at Valter pressurising Nathan as well. Down the inside, they're going to run to the McLaren as a result, but just about. And Valter with another aggressive overtake. They've made a few of those this race, and once again it's not paid off. And now Nathan trying to go around the outside of the McLaren. Will they dive down the inside? No, thinks better of it. Really getting tight in these final 9 laps of the race. So Griff, though, is ahead and can now go chasing after Pease for a possible podium, but they'll need to do it quickly because their soft tyres are 5 laps in. As they start to get to the latter stages of the race, those tyres will be done and dusted, and that will give Pease an opportunity. Pease is now 4.2 seconds back behind Robbie at the moment, so that 3-second penalty that Robbie picked up doesn't seem to be making a difference, but we'll see if we're saying that at the end of the race.
To Griff then ahead of Gillett as they make their way into the first DRS zone. Let's see then if any overtakes could be happening, because Hillett's on the hard compound tyres. To Griff gets a good launch coming out of turn 7 there as they make their way on the DRS straight then, and Hillett's too far behind to make a move on to Griff then, so Nathan right behind, followed by Walter, who are in close contention as well, but yeah, no moves being made down into turn 8. Can Nathan get a really good exit coming out of turn 9 here to try and slipstream his way past Root Hillett there, but no, he can't, he's too far back. But he's using the ERS to defend for Walter, because Walter's all over the back of him, looking to regain that lost ground he did at the first race, at the start of the race. But Nathan then goes down the inside of the McLaren, down at turn number 11, coming through turn 12, they contact and he spun!
Oh, that was, there wasn't much space between the two of them. I thought that was going to happen. Hillett spun round, and that's their race practically done and dusted for them. Will that be with the stewards later on? We'll see. Or was it? You can't really fit 2 cars into one there consistently, and Hillett unfortunately found out the hard way there. Didn't really see the full broadcast there. I only saw Nathan's on board, but we'll see what happens later on. Nathan won't be concerned about that for the time being as they go and pursue the Ferraris to Griff as well. Could we have a double Aston Martin podium? Potentially. Can Nathan make 2 overtakes at the end of the race as Hillett does indeed retire? They're not happy at all. We teased earlier about Aston Martin's performance this season. We could end up actually with joy for the Aston Martin team if they keep up the performances they're doing.
A bad quality turned into a good race so far. As look at Griff, he gets good launch coming out of turn 7 like he did the previous lap, so Griff exits are really helping him, and Seymour Gabriel has overtaken SXT Yogurt. Both Dutchmen going into a P9 and P10 then, and Mr. BT just following just behind. Let's see then.
Griff's gone wide out of the chicane. Nathan's going to be all over the back, and Griff's got no ERS as a result, and Nathan is just going to breeze past as well and up into 4th place as a result as well. So one mistake by the Ferrari, and that's cost them.
Yeah, both Aston Martin's having a fantastic race. SXT Yogurt picks up another penalty, sadly for him, as Seymour Gabriel that has a lot of twitch coming out of the exit of turn 14 after he got past Yogurt the same lap. a few quarters ago. But yeah, both Aston Martins then running a fantastic race. And Nathan's only about 1.6 seconds, 1.5 seconds behind. So the soft compound tyre is still working really well here, along with the medium runners. Can he get himself inside that DRS range? Could we have a double Aston Martin podium? I'd really love to see that, because they've struggled so much, Aston Martin. Like, there's so many opportunities and potential in this season where they could have scored loads of points and podiums, but just mistakes kicking in. Robbie back in USA when he was leading the race and hit that inside curb on the triple right-hander and lost the race win and potential podium as well. And other previous occasions where Aston Martin have been up there, but something's always happened. So really nice to see both Aston Martins having a good race up there. And Mr. BT gets past Yoga in an unusual place, so must have made a mistake, but good move there from Ben to go up to P10. And now he's got Sieb ahead of him, putting pressure on the McLaren driver, both on the same strategy, but Sieb Gamer does not have DRS to protect himself as to Griff then being overtaken by Walter, and there we go then, Walter on the medium compound tyres, finally gets past the Ferrari driver and moves himself up into P5. Mark's just behind, he was outside the DRS range a few laps ago, now he's got himself in contention all over the back of Griff. Griff looks like he's struggling a little bit, and is also derated on the straight, so is Mark as well, so no advantage there because they're both essentially got the same speed. But Sieb's been overtaken by Mr. BT, and here comes Yoga, and that Screamer's retired from the race.
Gone.
Could that be a safety car? Another safety car to put a twist in this race. Lap 23.
I was gonna mention that as well. I was gonna talk about we're starting to see the first signs that the soft tyres are starting to go. Nathan out of turn 3 had to lift through there just ever so slightly, lost 2 tenths there. So Pease has got much more speed in the first sector. But once again, that gap comes down actually in the final sector. So Nathan's quicker in the final sector, but first sector, Pease is the quicker of the two. But is that potentially a sign the tyres are going? And Valter's right on the back of Nathan as well to maybe spoil the Aston Martin party. We'll see. Nathan needs to get past Pease very quickly and hope Valter gets stuck as well. We know how aggressive Valter has been with his overtakes, and Nathan without much ERS left, and neither with Valter either, but Valter looks the quicker at the moment.
The worst thing for Robbie at this moment in time is a safety car, because I've bunched the whole pack up yet again and he'll be struggling to pull away with those soft compound tyres. So the worst thing for Robbie is a safety car. He'll be wishing that no safety car would spoil his afternoon or his night. And the lap 25, when we get to that stage, he can relax, because the safety car will not come out after that moment in time. And Mark hit the back into Griff there as he pushed him through the corners of turn 8 and turn 9.
Back end of Nathan stepped out, and now Valter's going to cleanly go around the outside. It was originally a mistake by Griff that gave Nathan an opportunity. Finally now Valter takes advantage of Nathan's mistake. Mark gets ahead of Griff as well for 6th place as well. And Nathan's desire for a podium for the time being ends there. But remember, of course, Valter with a 3-second time penalty himself. As long as Nathan could just follow the Haas car, they'll be back behind them. They'll be back ahead of them anyways. But I think Nathan is beginning to struggle for pace at the moment.
Been a good race so far. Chiruviza has been untroubled at the front. He's led all of this race so far and made the right calls with the safety car as well when they came out. 2 safety cars came out, he led them away beautifully, and he's dominated this race so far. Not been under pressure so far. Could have been a good race between himself and Cameron Dowes, but Cameron sadly lost it towards the end of the final corner, and he ended up in a retirement. But Chiruviza have been untroubled at the front. Took a week off in Austria because of work and returned. We're leading the race, but Yoga, what happened to him?
Another spin out of turn 3. Red Bull not exactly enjoying that particular number of corners, but Yoga's still in the race, albeit down now in what is effectively last place. As after 1.5 seconds back from Pease, Nathan's still within the DRS range, so Nathan could try and potentially come back. Locks up through the chicane there. Has dropped Mark out of that DRS range as well. Mark could be back under pressure from Griff once again with that DRS enabled. And Griff closing in. That's going to run out of room very quickly, as will Nathan as well. But nip and tuck towards the end here. Robbie's 3-second penalty. As long as they don't pick up another one, it should be okay. Galter's going to drop net. That's right. I'll drop down to behind to Griff. Things end the way they are.
Robbie just needs to relax now in these last 3 laps. He doesn't need to push too hard. He's currently in second place, 2.2 seconds away from Jeroen and 7-second gap ahead of P. So keep it nice and consistent all the way to the end. There's no need to push that hard and no need to like make little mistakes, because a P2 is crucial for him. He's been a bit demoralised in these last few races when he's made mistakes. He knows he's made mistakes and he's lost the confidence, and yeah. His mentality's not really good in these races, but thankfully he's had a clean race so far. Despite picking up a penalty, he'll still finish second place. He's dreaded to see those yellow flags, hoping that no safety car will come out, but we're past that point now. No safety car should come out, and yeah, we're past the point where Robbie can relax in P2 and just take a breather and have a nice ride for these 3 laps to go.
Yeah, you'll get pitting, presumably to try and snatch the fastest lap. But this is all about mindset now with these last 3 laps. There's a lot of pressure, as you've mentioned. Robbie is presumably feeling demoralised for a number of laps here. Will they let that get to them? Will they let the excitement of being in a podium get in the way as well? Got to really concentrate now more than you have before and not letting that feeling get to you. Nathan still trying to pass Valter again, but not able to find a way through just yet. Valter's doing just enough, but Valter's efforts are about to be in vain. Valter is actually starting to catch P's as well. Gap down to 1.2 seconds, but what can Valter really do in 4th place at the moment? Nathan will be maybe up.
Oh no, Robbie! But why? You didn't have to do that. Why?
I think he might be okay. There's an 8/10 gap between himself and Pease, but Pease will have seen that, and of course they'll see exactly how many penalties they've got. It's nip and tuck now. Robbie cannot afford another one. If Pease has got pace in those mediums left, and Robbie's lost pace in his soft tyres, Pease needs to unleash it right now in these last 2 laps, because Robbie could cost themselves a P2 if Pease has a bit more pace in them.
I hope he's not focused on catching Jeroen, because that's the worst idea for him. He needs to focus on his own race and try and keep it consistent as well. So Robbie, just keep it nice and clean. He's got a 7/10 gap now. He has to push a little bit now because Pease is like 7/10 away from getting P2. So yeah, Robbie has to think about pushing now instead of relaxing in those last few laps of the race. So gotta be really careful. Don't pick up any more penalties, because I've just seen him. He did it again down at turn number 5 when he mounted the curve and cut the corner. So come on, Robbie, keep it nice and clean. There's no need to push too hard in these last stages of the race. Don't think about catching Jeroen.
To Griff is after Mark here. Mark's under defensive. Will to Griff. Go around the outside. Oh! That was there's a bit of argy-bargy there. I'm not sure if Griff will be too impressed with that one. But no damage caused, thankfully. And Het Bomgier and Mr. BT are right behind him as well. We haven't really mentioned Mr. BT, but down in 9th place isn't a bad one either. And I think Nathan's dropped out slightly. Nathan's starting to struggle with pace. I saw them down the back straight. They couldn't even get to 8th gear as well, but we're on the final lap then. And I'll tell you what, Jeroen has lost a lot of time. That gap down to 2.2 seconds.
It shouldn't focus on that, because Jeroen does not have a penalty, so I know Robbie would love.
It's a full, yeah, but Jeroen's lost a full second on that as well. I don't know if it's not making a significant difference, but I think the soft tyres are beginning to go now. That gap between Robbie and Pease still 7/10, but this could be. I think the soft tyres are beginning to struggle now. They've all backed up from each other.
We've got a good fight going on for P6. Here comes Griff again for the second time of asking. Here he comes then on Mark. Het Bomgier is in the distance, just waiting for his moment. He has the overspeed on Mark. Mark tries to defend the inside line. Here we go then. Het Bomgier going around the outside of the inside line for the next corner. But will we see the same thing that happened on the previous 3 occasions? Yes, we will.
Oh, yes, we will.
Oh, that's the third driver who got caught out by that mistake. It's such a common thing to do, the nature of that corner, just so tight through there. The rear just unsettles there, but I think that fight's over and done with. Mark in P7, Griff stays in P6 then. So We're going to go aboard without race leader. We've barely mentioned our race leader in this race. Just dominated the whole race. He just kept it clean and consistent. No pressure whatsoever. Jerivas has done a fantastic job yet again in that Williams. Robbie's right behind him in P2, but Walter picks up a 3-second time penalty. And Jerivas will come across the line then to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix ahead of Robbie in P2. Here comes PZ in P3 as he makes his way towards the line. He'll pick up a podium for the second race in a row, and here comes Walter, finishes in P4. Nathan JB finishes in P5. Aston Martin P4 thanks to Walter's penalty. To Griff finishes P5. Mark in P7, 1/10 behind Walter. Mr. BT, what a good race from him, from starting last or 19th on the grid. And Seymour Gamer gets inside the top 10 ahead of Het Bompier. Joshua go for the fastest lap in the P11 with Yoggett as well, but we'll see then, is this lap time good enough to get himself the fastest lap of the race, make his way towards the final corner. Let's see what this lap time is. And it's the fastest lap. It's a 35.9, so he takes the fastest lap and get an extra point, because remember, the top 15 get points.
Yoggett spun on the final corner as well and is reversing back to the racing line there, so Yoggett reverse weaving, as if that's even a thing. But really good race there, but dominant display and very controlled there by Jerome. Understandable why he's the championship leader. Just absolutely really had no threat really as soon as Cameron Dowles was from the race.
Should we get these boys at the podium interview then?
I suppose we should, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to invite, if you can help me as well, I'll invite Javoon, you invite Robbie, and I'll invite Peace.
I will try my best.
So, Javoon wins then ahead of Robbie, Peace and P3. God, I'm messing up these podium interviews here. Wait, hold on. Let me leave this party and make a new one. Is it your party settings as well, like your privacy settings? I've invited for Javoon, I've created a new party. And the last one, it was Total Peas, Relentless Peas. Right, so I invited all the drivers to the podium interviews. Hopefully they enjoyed it, and let's see what they got to talk about.
Yeah, it'll be good. But yeah, what a good race though. That was very enjoyable. When you know, like you mentioned earlier, Abu Dhabi isn't known for most entertaining races, but I think it's safe to say we got just about that with the race today.
Usually in Tier 1 it is the Discord server we talk to, but because of Scotty not joining, we no longer have the Discord server. It's the PlayStation party people should join, so probably just waiting for the Discord server, but we're not in there tonight. We're in the PS4 party.
Hashtag blame Scotty. I'm just seeing if anyone are in that. No one's in the Discord one. I think we're all okay.
Give it a couple of seconds or a few moments, but we'll see if they want to join or not. Robbie should. It's his first podium.
We've got two in here. We've got Jerome and we've got Peas.
Just waiting for one more driver, Robbie. I think you definitely want to join because it's his first legit podium, hopefully. There he is. If we'll go from third upwards. Hello, Total Peas, mate. How are you doing?
I'm happy.
What was you expecting from this race? You had a good race, finished in P3, but the safety car did cost you a little bit, but you managed to claw your way through the field. Talk about your battles for us.
I came into this race not expecting anything because I didn't even know I was racing until an hour before. Knew the track was bad. Everyone bottled it. I managed to get through thanks to Valter overtaking people and there being space to just put my car and move forward. But yeah, no, it went better than I expected. Can't complain.
Was you expecting a podium order for this race?
No, I was expecting P14.
That's a very precise P14.
Yeah.
Were you ever worried about the soft runners coming at you in the after the safety car safety car restart?
Nah, I knew those soft runners ahead of me were quicker already, so they would be gone, and I knew the ones behind me I could keep ahead. So from then I was just just drive, just survive, and make it.
When Robbie picked up a 6-second time penalty, did you think P2 was on the cards for you?
Yep, but the last sector I can't match. Like, he was just too good in the last sector. I'd claw some time in the first two. The last sector I was nowhere near, so it was like, okay, I might as well just bring it home and not die trying to make up a position.
Were you struggling on this track? Because I know a few people were, and it's very, very hard this track, isn't it?
Oh, I absolutely hate this track with all my guts. It's the worst track on the game by a mile.
Fair enough, mate, fair enough. And it's P3 then, all you could hope for today?
It's more than I expected, so I'll take it, yeah.
Hopefully with the championship with Walter as well. I think Walter finished in P6 P6 with the penalties, so closing in towards Walter, but nevertheless it was a good race for you, clawing your way back through the field with the first safety car, pitting onto the mediums. It was softer mediums.
It was just trying to survive.
Yeah, fair enough, mate, fair enough, and congratulations on P3.
Thank you.
Any questions to ask for P's origin?
No, I think generally, I was very impressed by the overtaking. I was going to mention up Valter's some of Valter's aggressive overtaking. Was it just about just being patient and just waiting for those opportunities when they were available?
Yeah, I knew this track is very hard to keep like a good line if you go side by side. So I knew if Valter's going to be on the inside of someone, I know they're going to be out of shape for the next corner, so I just waited, got a nice line myself, and just drove straight through.
Yeah, definitely. Oh,
I saw when Walter took a lot of time to fight with somebody, then he managed to overtake him and put him offline, and you went straight through.
Yeah, exactly. It worked the treat, because I think like people were over defending, which helped me a lot. Because when you over defend, you're offline, and then there'll be a gap to just slot in, and it worked to treat.
And the next race, I think, is at Italy. Was it Monza or Imola?
Pretty sure it's Imola, so that's another Urine win by 47 seconds. So,
Yeah, it is.
Take that home and get as many points as possible.
It is Imola, so yeah, about to ask you about that, but yeah, Imola next race. Going on to Robbie. Robbie, you must be very, very happy, mate. P2, your first, hopefully, legit podium after 2 previous attempts.
Yeah, I mean, about damn time, isn't it? Yeah, hopefully nothing comes up. It was a pretty lonely race. I mean, I bottled quali on the final corner and started P17. Obviously, wasn't all that good, but no, I mean, on the race pace, I'm pretty confident about myself. And yeah, the 2 penalties didn't help, but fortunately, I had the pace.
Yeah, massive congratulations, mate. You made your way through the field, and very good battles between you and a few cars. Talk us through your battles, because you went side by side with quite a few people, and dived down the inside of turn 7 as well.
Yeah, I mean, at one point I was stuck behind a Ferrari, but then the safety car came out, obviously, and helped me a lot. I had Hulit on hards, was it, ahead of me, and I just knew Jerome was gonna pull out and out of the DRS. So after that, we was just literally trying to stick with him. I was matching him, to be fair, but I was never quick enough to catch him.
Yeah, you did a fantastic overall, because you're just aiming for your first podium of the season, mate. So very happy that you got your first podium, P2. But with those penalties, were you actually were you trying to catch Walter, thinking you had a chance of catching the race, or was just made a lot of mistake?
No, I mean it's fine margins, you know. It's you go offline one bit and then a warning comes your way, and obviously I had to push because Peace was behind me on mediums, and I thought that the softs were gonna die off, you know, and he was gonna catch me, but the softs lasted a lot longer than I expected, so it was all good.
Were you nervous about the softs dropping off and people catching you from behind?
Yeah, I mean the last 4 or 5 laps it was ice skating, you know. Peace was catching as well, but my last sector, as he said, was pretty good. So
I was going to ask towards the end, because there was a constant gap between you and Jerome of about like 2.2 seconds, and right towards the end that gap dropped down to 1.3. Did you think you'd end up overtaking him at any point, or was it just about keeping it calm until the end?
I mean, yeah, I obviously had 6 seconds, so I was never gonna win. But you can ask him what happened. I don't know. It was 2.6, and then it just dropped to 6 tenths. Probably him slowing down. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Congratulations, Robbie, for P2, mate. Does it boost your confidence heading into the next few races?
Not really, not Imola. I might call in sick, you know. Yeah.
What, you find it better than Abu Dhabi? I mean, worse than Abu Dhabi, sorry.
Yeah, no, I actually like Abu Dhabi a bit, but Imola is the worst track for me, so yeah.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Congratulations on P2, mate. Hopefully it stays with you this time.
Yeah, cheers.
Chiruva's, mate. Not much to say, really. Came back, took pole position. Talk about your pole lap as well, because first man in the 33s, that must have been a fantastic lap from you there.
Yeah, it was a good lap. I had only one chance. I didn't fuel up for 2 laps as well. I knew I had good quali pace, because I've done the practice before and the lobbies. I've done good laps, so I was chill about that. It was only a sketchy 1 lap on Abu Dhabi. With all the curves, like if you hit a curb a bit wrong, your lap is completely destroyed. But yeah, no, I kept it together, did a decent lap in the end, which was enough for pole, so it's good.
Previous 2 occasions, were you ever nervous not setting a pole up in the last lap, because the previous 2 you were just, did the confidence get away from you a little bit?
To be fair, I was a bit no, not shaken, but you know what I mean. I was a bit nervous going into the last lap. I knew I had to put it together, so every time like you're on the straight, you have time to think. Your heart is just fucking beating fast. And no, but I had done enough qualies that I knew how to put it together, and I did.
Yeah, what an amazing performance. You led the whole race, mate. Were you ever nervous about Robbie when he got up to P2? Oh, you're on the same set of softs, weren't you? So never mind. But yeah, the last lap, were you cruising around knowing that Robbie had a penalty?
Yeah, I didn't push, like I pushed at the beginning of the softs to build a gap, but yeah, for the rest of the stint I didn't really try to push. I just made sure I did the best or the fastest lines everywhere, not without like really pushing. So I'd still I managed a gap to Robbie, and yeah, there was no reason for me to really push because Peace wasn't catching, and Robbie had like 3 or 6 seconds, I don't even know. So yeah, in the last lap I completely dropped everything because I didn't want to. I didn't go over any curb and shit. Just brought it home.
Yeah, there's 4 races left to go, mate. Do you really think about the championship now here at CRL?
Yeah, it's going well, and good tracks will be coming up as well, so it's good.
Yeah, most people expect you to dominate as well, Jeroen, in Imola.
My favourite track, so.
I'm not surprised. You went well there in the past, and if I remember correctly, it was a wet race last time, wasn't it?
Yeah. Last time I wasn't too good in the full wet race start or something. It was Inter, but my race start was not so good. At the safety car race as well, but I've learned from that. So we'll see next time if it's dry or wet. Hopefully do well.
If Cameron Dowles was in the race, do you think he'd be putting a lot of pressure on you? Because you were quite close before the first safety car came out, but you got that lovely restart and you immediately got yourself out the 1 second gap.
I wasn't too scared, to be honest, because if he would stick with me, we could have worked together, because he knows what he's doing as well, so it's good to work together with. But yeah, no, I had the gap. He was flashing earlier than me, so I had the pace on him, so I wasn't too scared.
Yeah, Gwen, you dominated the whole race. Just massive congratulations, mate, for that win. You deserve it. And Origami, you got any questions for him?
No, I think it was just a dominating performance overall. The only thing I was going to mention during the mid-race, when the second safety car came out and you had to make the choice to go onto the soft tyres, were you confident they could get to the end, or were you a bit worried, especially when Halit went for the hard tyres instead?
No, the hards were never an option. The hards was a bad choice. Only thing I was maybe even thinking about like doing a 2-stop, soft. But when I saw I could manage the gap to piece or build a gap, I was like pretty confident I could bring it home. Although when the safety came out, I was not very happy, because taking the softs for so long, half the race. Yeah, not a good idea if you'd asked me before.
Yeah, it looked like a very awkward situation. Although a number of people decided to do 3 or 4 stop strategies on soft tyres, so
yeah, the mark strategy is what we call it.
But yeah, no, awesome job, and congratulations as always for another dominant performance.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll end off there. Join us next week for Imola at 8:30. Hopefully, it's been a really pleasure commentating with you, Origami, and hopefully Scotty will be back with me next week.
Awesome, thank you all.
See you all next week.
Take care.